Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Welcome back, everybody, to the eRacing GP. My name is Victor Cax. Joining me here is Amir Hazi, aka Ammo. We're going to be here to bring you guys round number 3. It's been just about a week after we've done our Format B race, and now it's going to be back into another 2-race format here. This time around, we're going to be taking to the streets of Thailand here in Chang International Circuit. Well, we've already passed the halfway mark now for the season. What are your thoughts of how things have gone so far?
I think it's gone pretty well because the championship fights in all 4 classes have been relatively close so far, but it's this one where the points are going to be dropped. You know, the worst race is going to be dropped. That will come to play after this. So for those guys who haven't had the best round so far, they have to get cracking. And for those who have done so, they probably would not want to stuff up badly as well, because again, when you come to the final reckoning, all the points count either way.
Yeah, and mind you, eRacing GP also has a drop round rule, so even if they do mess up one round, they still have an opportunity really to still stay in the championship by dropping one of the rounds that they've performed poorly in. But still, as a racing driver, you still want to be able to net the maximum amount of points for each single round. So without further ado, let's go ahead and have a look right now at who are the leaders in our current championships here. We've got, for the gold class, Hong Kong's Chester Lam still leading the way in that category. Alonso Marcus Lacambra from the Philippines leads in the silver class, and Ethan Lau from Malaysia leads for the bronze class. And last but not least, Duran Abisekera from Sri Lanka, he's currently the leader now in the copper class.
Indeed, and how that transpires into the next slide that we're going to go look into is the team standings first, where we combine all the points from all 4 classes, but only the best 2 finishes for each team contribute to the points, and that's exactly how it has turned out for the likes of Red Pack, Papega, Asia eRacing team. They have actually the most number of participants, aside from Handshake Sim Racing Malaysia, who have gone through a number of rebrands, more successful than Jaguars. They're right now in 2nd place, behind the Red Pack, Papega guys who have the most number of drivers with them. Apex Racing Brunei, understatedly in 3rd, only just ahead of GSR and N92 Motorsport in that top 5. So, relatively speaking, those teams in the top 5 might be able to just take points off each other, but you'll be hard-pressed to find anybody who can chase after Papega Red Pack.
Yeah, I think like for the most part, it's mostly going to be a battle for 3rd, maybe 4th place here amongst the other teams. Now, heading on to our nation's standings here, again, also quite predetermined by the number of participants we have here. Obviously, we have a lot more Malaysian drivers in all across all the categories here combined. So therefore, Malaysia still is up on top of the standings board, but Philippines not too bad as well. I mean, 222 points for them as of right now, which puts them ahead of Indonesia, with only 172 to their name, and Brunei coming in 4th place. So you can pretty much see who are the major sort of players in this region as far as the eRacing GP is concerned.
Yep, indeed. And quite a few interlopers here and there, the likes of the United States with Elliot Stevenagel, who was flying the flag high for the Star Spangled Banner in the first round in Fuji, but he missed out on the previous round because he had to go for baseball. Hopefully, he will be back here to try and bring the points for the US up. But apart from that, pretty close from, as you said, in the team standings. 3rd, 4th, 5th will be the key battleground here, but you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who can chase after Malaysia, who have the most number of participants.
Indeed, it is. So, as we have a look right now where we've started when it comes to this season until now. So we started things off with Fuji Speedway in round number 1. We went to round number 2 in SoCal. That time we did a Format B race, meaning it was a longer 30-minute race for all the categories. So it was certainly an interesting challenge here for our eRacing GP drivers. Now in round 3, we take to Thailand in Buriram circuit, aka the Chang International Circuit, and that will be the battleground that we will be having for this very evening. Now, 4.554 kilometers long is a clockwise circuit, as is most circuits around the world. 12 corners, but because of how many straights they are here, I can count like 3 main straights altogether here, and it certainly makes for a lot of overtaking opportunities out here in Buriram.
Particularly turn number 2 after the first turn. That's where you can see probably a lot of drivers going for the dive bomb. And you alluded to earlier the streets of Thailand. Well, it is a proper street. It is a proper circuit. Not a street circuit per se. It's not like Bang Sen. Bang Sen, yes, that will be another. That typifies a very good street circuit. But this one, a very good Grand Prix circuit because MotoGP comes here. Super GT were here at one point. A really high-class facility out in Thailand. And glad to say that it is quite a challenge for the drivers to tackle as well, because some of these corners, despite not having that many elevation changes, are deceptively difficult.
Yeah, indeed. And as we wait for them to get ahead with our qualifying sessions here, here's the class of cars that we're going to be running in this championship. We've already been running this for a few seasons now, and it's just proven to be such a popular choice amongst the drivers here. With the Gold class having the Le Mans Hypercar, brought to you by the Racing Rats as the modders for that pack of cars. Le Mans Prototype 2, which is also by the Racing Rats. These are provided for the Silver class. For the Bronze class, we got a updated version of the BCRC mod of bringing GT3 cars, so it's a slightly more powerful, slightly faster than the previous version of this mod. And for the Copper class, we're sticking with the GT4 Porsche Cayman, which comes as part of the official Kunos content. So as of right now, you know, when you think about championships like this, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. And because this has served us so well over the last few seasons, it's pretty great that we're still continuing to run with these same pack of cars.
Absolutely, and particular because for the gold and silver classes, the prototypes have been providing some good action. And that's not to say that the other classes have not provided so. Bronze, especially with the amount of crazy chopping changes that we've had in the last couple of seasons, I think we found a sort of secret formula that works for every single class. Either way, now that we get to that housekeeping out of the way, we need to set the stage for what it's going to look like coming into the race, and that will be the Coppa standings. How that looks like with who's leading the way. Well, in fact, as we said earlier, it is very close, but definitely not as close as this. Tied on points between Duran Abisekera and SM Fauzi. We'll be focusing on them during qualifying because that will determine who will lead the championship coming into the final round. Adrian Ahmed, he's in a mathematical chance. Just outside of that, 10 points behind. And Randy-Ko and Jordan McNeil, the two TGS Pantera drivers, are keeping each other company in that top 5. But for sure, it's still anybody's game out there if they get a very good round here, Vic.
Like, I wonder, has there been a season ender in eRacing GP where both of the front runners are tied exactly in points before?
Yeah, we have. I mean, Naki will definitely not be reminded of that one, but he lost on the tiebreaker. That was as close as he could slice it. They had to go to number of wins, which was the same, number of second places, which was the same. So it was a third place that ended up being the tiebreaker here. So we have our championship standings that we post on Discord that actually shows where the drivers finished. So again, any position that they can take is multiplied for that is definitely going to be the tiebreaker if you are equal on points.
That's right. That's right. So, wow, it's going to be a very tight championship situation here for our Coppa drivers as we now jump on board with them on the racetrack here. We still have 5 minutes of qualifying left to go here. And as I was observing since the practice earlier on, you know, 144 seems to be the average time that I'm seeing from the top 10 at least. Although I did see a few drivers who were able to hit the hit it under 144, so that's the mid to high like 143s, and yep, there we go. Habi Sakura, our current championship leader, just doing it exactly as I've called it out here.
Yeah, indeed. You were saying that they were in the 43s during practice. Habi Sakura wasn't having the best of runs earlier because he was bogged a bit by the traffic, but nonetheless, he definitely kept the powder dry, and now is just going full pelt in the closing stages. Though, then again, a 10-minute session that we have nowadays can certainly change when the marker gets laid on the ground, more rubber is put into the racing surface, and you get more grip. So we'll wait and see whether or not anybody can improve. In fact, someone has improved.
Yeah.
Fauzi at 42.9. That's a first. I didn't know even a 42 was possible here, but Fauzi, well, when he turned up, he definitely turned the wick and then some.
It's like a barely into 142, to be fair, like basically only 2 milliseconds of difference, rather 2 milliseconds under 143 flat. So incredible time nevertheless here for Fauzi though. Like he's actually been impressive over the last couple of rounds. So would this be his chance now to actually put a challenge to both Duran Abusakera as well as Adrian Ahmed here? Ooh, this is going to be an exciting one to see.
And speaking of Adrian Ahmed, here he is. He's right in front of Fauzi, but he's stuck behind some bad markers too because there's Jerome Fong, part of the HSM team, Handshake Sim Racing Malaysia, and that's not what he wants to see because that is what we will say is a back marker, and it'll be a deterrent for him unless, of course, he can focus on that. Well, there goes Jerome across the outside. Does he come back to him?
Nah,
a bit close, but Jerome does get out of the way. So very good driving there from Jerome, but at the expense of Adri because look, there's SM Fauzi. Fauzi's actually right behind here to pounce on Adri if Adri was to slip up, and this is not what he wanted.
Yeah, I think Fauzi is literally sussing out the competition here, as it were. SM Fauzi, by the way, is Miles Shinoda from the Handshake Racing team, so he certainly has been impressive, as I said, from the previous rounds, and looks like he's again still going to be bringing more challenges here. And as it stands right now, Adrian Ahmed is like 1.5 seconds or 2 whole seconds off of both Abisakera as well as Fauzi respectively. So perhaps right now with a little bit of a push from behind here from Fauzi, who's currently on the top. Let's see if Adrian is going to be able to make it better this time around. Comes across the line.
He was 5th.
He was 5th.
Now it's dropped to 6th and 7th.
7th, as well as Jordan McNeil and Liu has both posted up times faster than Adrian Ahmed right now.
And Abisakera has actually gone way better here. Look, we missed him on our sides because we were focusing on Adri being chased after SM Fauzi, but Abisakera is only about 300s behind.
Yeah.
So he might actually turn up here with a faster lap time, but once again, traffic may be a factor. As you can see there, one of the TGS Pantera drivers, Benjamin Jacob, and I can see a Papega Red Pack car in front. That is Damien Arif. So Damien is racing somewhere. He's not at Axel this time because he normally races from the center, but he is racing somewhere. Is his car out on track? Only P17, and look, back marker's gonna come to play, and Duran, he's flashing his lights. You can see the change in hue at the rear bumper, but Abisakera definitely got bogged there.
Yeah, but again, he's looking for 31 milliseconds of time out on the track here. It's extremely narrow margins, so even disruptions like that, it's certainly going to cost him dearly. He's only got 1.5 minutes of qualifying time left, so perhaps enough to continue to do one extra lap here, but he's going to have to pretty much do it on the same set of tires. Not an ideal situation, especially when the margin is this thin, but that's just how much Miles Shinoda, aka SM Fauzi, is currently pushing him right now.
And I thought Melvin Malik was Miles Shinoda because of the Mail.
Right,
yeah.
I think you mentioned just as much in last week's broadcast too.
Either way, I think whatever it is, Fauzi is the man on a mission here. He wants to get that extra point away from Abisakera, and as it stands, he will actually still be second, but about 1 point behind coming into the race. He comes across the line. Of course, he just backed it off a bit because Adri is still right in his front windshield, and that's exactly not what he wanted, and it has cost him dearly here.
Yeah, well, at least the two of them will have each other for company as this qualifying session comes to a close. Some notable performers here. So Randy Go, another person who's been able to break under 143 mark when I saw in practice early on, has managed to put himself up into the second row here. He's going to be joining alongside his teammate Jordan McNeil. So second row lockout here for the Pantera team.
Indeed, and in front of another of the Sri Lankans, Tiago Pereira. He's right behind, but don't think he'll be trying to help Abby Sakara that much as Randy comes across the line. He gets a slight improvement there, 43-2, but still 2/10 behind Abby Sakara. McNeil's right behind him on the timesheet, but in front of him right now is Seth Martin, and that's not the best way to start a lap. That really has compromised him a bit. Rest of the field coming through now.
Yeah, well, checkered flag's already coming out. The qualifying session timer is officially ended right now, but there's still cars out on track trying to post in their lap times at the last minute here. Who else is going to be able to post some good times right now? As Abisekera continues to go on, doesn't make any improvement. He remains in P2, so Fauzi looking like he will be clinching that pole position at this rate here. And Adrian Ahmed, you know, as we were continuing to talk about some of the other drivers, he's actually dropped all the way down to 10th place now, effectively. Hasn't been able to break under 144, still 43 milliseconds shy of that time, but yet he is going to be coming around the final corner now. Let's see if he is going to be able to make that improvement. Abisekera gets that checkered flag. Fauzi will be falling closely behind Adrian. He does come across, he does improve his time, but only good enough for 7, and he gets bumped down immediately to 8th here, as Miles Malik has already pulled himself up into 4th place, taking away Jordan McNeil's 4th position.
And that is crucial for Fauzi because that's a teammate right behind him here. Whereas Fauzi managed to improve his time only a couple of hundreds. You can see side by side between the two teammates. They know full well that part 1 of the job is done, but the race is still to go. So rest of the field we can probably just give some TLC to in terms of camera time. Behind them is Zacharias Wong. He is in 24th, the very bottom cusp of the picture. Benjamin Jacob, though, is 26, one of the TJ Pantera guys. We saw him earlier on camera, and unfortunately, that's where he will possibly stay unless because he can improve here. And the rest of them will just be waiting for the race to start.
Yeah, I think we still have a few more drivers who are yet to get their checkered flag here. I think that's number 12, Kayyum, currently still out on track. Nope, he's going to be teleporting back in. So only 2 runners remain out in this qualifying session. We have to wait for them to finish up their laps before we'll be able to reset the session into the proper first race here for the Copper class. And indeed, finally, we are going to be getting ourselves onto the grid now. Copper class, 3rd round of competition here in this 4-round season. It's going to be a very interesting championship to witness here, mainly because of how both Fauzi as well as Abisekera are like tied here in terms of points. So any kind of difference that can make has to start from this round itself, isn't it?
Yep, and that will be 1 point to the good for Fauzi that he finished ahead of Abisekera. And this probably is a good time to actually show the race format because we were in race format B last time, but let's give a little bit of a refresher of what race format A looks like because it's different points, but at the same time, the distribution of the points is actually roughly the same, especially if you're the winner because it's 49 points. So while we wait for qualifying to take over to the race, let's have a look at the race format. We will be looking into this, and there we go.
Yeah. So here you go. You have this is race format A, so you still get points for the top 5 of qualifying, and for race number 1, the points start at 25 points for first place, whereas for race number 2, it drops down to 15 points. So while it may seem that race 2 will give you less points, but I think especially when you consider how competitive the top 10 are in every championship that you run every class, all those points, individual points, are so important. So you'll certainly see, especially with the top 10 reverse grid, that race number 2 would just be fought as hard as it were for race number 1.
And of course, the counterpoint is that you want to actually have the distribution for the second race lower because it will be a bit cheating, isn't it, for those guys who had a bad race. Let's say they finish out just outside of the top 10 or in 10th, and they get 25 points as well. They will ultimately get more than the race winner if they didn't get a better result in race 2. So it's quite fair that the distribution is different here. Now we jump back into the live pictures and we see someone right at the back here. This is Jan Hansim. And again, we love to do this because we get to see the contrast of where you are in relation to the rest. So Jan Han is right at the back here. You can see the other 30 cars right in front of him. Middle of the field, we have I was about to say Damien Arif, so Damien here, he's right in the middle of it, but up in front will be SM Fauzi.
Yeah, and way up in the front as well will be the gantry lights. They are getting primed up and ready. 7 more seconds. The red lights are going on, and we will be off now for the Coppa class race here at Buriram. Ooh, looking like almost a false start there, but Fauzi comes off the line brilliantly right now. Still is able to stay ahead of Abe Sakura by a whole half second even before they hit the first turn. He moves in nice and clean. Rest of the grid is also piling in. A bit of a slide in the middle there. I see one of the Handshake Racing cars actually losing control, but managed to get it back. One of the Pepega drivers is spun around completely though. He's completely at the back of the grid. That's Kayum right now, who I thought I saw get into a bit of a slide. Managed to recover just in time, but it's dropped down a few places. Fauzi at the moment now building a 1 whole second gap now, but Milik is actually overtaken by Sakura, and Sakura is also being overtaken by Jordan McNeil and Brendan Liu. What has happened right now to Abe Sakura's race?
Oh, that would not be good for the Sri Lankans here, but there he is. He's still in that pack. He's actually behind Melvin. You can see Jordan gave him elbows there, was Malik. And now here comes Abe Sakura trying to come through, but he thought better of it because he knows full well that the championship is still on the line and he retains the position. Adri around the outside. Adri's also here picking for a fight, but no doubt, the biggest winner here. Oh no, McNeil! Oh. McNeil's off now. He spun it around and Adri spun it around as well.
Yeah, Abe Sakura managed to avoid all that contact, but Adri's now dropped all the way down. 16th place, 17th place. Wow, that's just such a disaster right now here for Adri Ahmed, as well as Jordan McNeil. My goodness, Abe Sakura fortunately was able to get himself back up into 4th place now, and he's quite clear of the rest of the competitors, so he shouldn't have too much trouble from here on out. But perhaps a place on the podium might be on the cards here if he can continue to find some gains within this next 13 minutes.
Although he does have a bit of a barrier in front, because you have to remember the one in 3rd place right now is Melvin Malik, and that's teammate to SM Fauzi. So this would not be an easy one at all, because again, a teammate knows that he is in the championship fight. He will be doing his absolute damnedest to not let the Sri Lankan through.
Yeah, well, it's still going to be a long race here for Duran Abe Sakura, no matter how you cut it. I do suspect there was definitely some tussling going on there just off camera that caused Abe Sakura to lose so many places, but fortunately he's back on track right now, a little bit outside of the podium, but then again he's got the rest of this race here to try to figure out how he's going to get back. And in the meantime, behind him a pack of Panthers are literally forming up right now, trying to jostle against each other. A bit of a touch and go there. Randy Go is leading the pack as it were right now, but both Aiden Yee as well as Ezra Collin are literally falling behind his slipstream.
Yeah, and you can see Ezra there was actually going for a bit of a wider line because he doesn't want to go for a move and to wipe out all 3 Panthers there. So luckily though, they're probably in formation just to conserve the points, but it'll be no point that they cannot make any inroads to the guys in front. So Randy then has to take the initiative and try to lead this train further up to the back of Duran Abe Sakura. But luckily, for the time being, they are in a very good position.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it will still be a very healthy amount of points going there to the Pantera team, but nevertheless, it's still going to be very much a train, a procession, as it were. Oh, Kaiyum losing so much control there. Definitely on the ragged edge there, this Handshake Racing driver is.
Look at that, Aditya Nugroho actually will try to go pull the move on Ezra Collin and breaking the Panteras in their line here. Meanwhile, we're looking at Kaiyum. He's actually trying to overtake Ronaldo J. Alejado, and Alejado actually goes into the inside. He's been trained, of course, by Russell Reyes, so Russell probably taught him anything or two of how to put up some defensive driving. And of course, when he's under attack, he will try to do that and fight back. But no doubt, Alejado has got some good teachers. And meanwhile, further behind, a couple of drivers going off there. McNeil went off, and I think it was Thiago Pereira. No, in fact, it was another one of the Porsche livery cars. But left, right, and center everywhere. You can see another car falling behind. You can't take your eyes off anyway. It's action left, right, and center.
Oh my goodness, that was looking a little bit too close. Jordan McNeil being forced out wide. He's going to have to rejoin onto the track here. He will join alongside Thiago Pereira right now. Both of them trying to chase after Mikhail Iqbal, who is just pulling ahead of them by a whole half second right now. Jordan McNeil, of course, was earlier on up in the top 5, now having to fight his way back into the points right now from 15th place. Not the best position to do it from, but certainly that's that's the challenge. That's the that's literally what you have to do if you end up having a crash early on in the race. Unfortunately.
Yep, and someone's asking for if there's any Itasha liveries in Coppa. Well, we got one here. It's Heaven Burns Red. And for those who know that particular game, they would love to see a bit of representation there. But unfortunately, Wei Shin Wong is representing the livery almost at the tail end of the field. He's in the mid-pack here, battling with Damien Arif, and Mikael Iqbal will be right in front of him. Iqbal has actually been overtaken by McNeil. So there we go. That's one position taken away. And here's the Racing Savant. He's probably just got the... Oh, in fact, we got a move for the front here. Melvin Malik and Bradley Liu. Side by side they go, and Bradley has been overtaken by Melvin. So Miles Shinoda has taken the position. Second place here, and it's a DDSRT 1-2.
Yep, it's going to be a 1-2 for sure here, as long as Malik is able to stay in front of Bradley. One wonders what exactly transpired, but it looked like Malik was already getting quite close to Bradley up until just now, and finally made the move stick here. So Bradley still going to be in the podium. Abis Sekera is already caught up to this pack, though. He's only about 0.8 of a second behind, so he's certainly having a very good front row seat to this battle right now, and looking like he might want to join in on it sooner rather than later here.
Well, he'll be hoping that Bradley will be more or less roughing up Melvin to get that position away, but that will also be the detriment to Bradley if something were to happen between these two. So Durand is just holding back. He doesn't want to get involved in this. Not yet anyway. Still half the race left to go here, so probably biding his time, waiting for the right opportunity to strike, because at this point in time, level on points, well, now 1 point to the good to Fauzi. He wouldn't want to actually let the floodgates open in Fauzi's favor.
Yeah, but the thing is, with Duran already pressuring Bradley like this, it's actually kind of lit a fire under Bradley, because he's gained almost 6/10 in terms of delta right now. So he's certainly trying to pull away as much as he can, but he still has Melvin Malik in front of him. So if he wants to continue to try to defend here, he still has to think about the pursuit that he'll have to do against Malik, who's still a little bit faster comparatively. So certainly not quite out of the woods yet for him.
Yeah, you can see there, Abis Sekera looked for a bit of a dink into the final corner. We saw Melvin pulling that move off in the previous lap. Bradley is now well alert to this one as he goes narrow into the middle of the circuit. But that might be a mistake, because he will have to go back to the racing line, which he does. But it has compromised Abis Sekera as well, because he had to go around the outside, and he flashes his lights out of gesticulation that he was not happy with that one. Even though there's nothing particularly wrong with that move, though.
Again, sometimes there's always an expectation from when you're on the attacking side that defenders will be able to give them some space. But again, you give them too much space, and that just gives you the whole advantage, doesn't it? Look at the amount of defense here that Ronaldo is trying to do, but Ryan Dukara not there, just literally swings in, snatches away the apex, and leaves him out on the outside of the corner. Brilliant move here from the Sri Lankan racing team here.
Wow, SRL's Ranidu Karunaratne has actually taken the leap or two out of Tehane Ranga and Fazal Alim's book in trying to outfox somebody. But Ronaldo, well, not the real life Ronaldo, of course, who's not known for his defending. He's known for his attacking. Will try to retaliate back here and get the position into the top 10, because again, that 10th position is important, because that'll be pole for race number 2. So for Ronaldo Alejado, that's what he will love to have right now, to just retaliate back. We're watching this and also watching for the battle further out the field, because in front of them you got Nugroho, Qayyum, and Colin involved in a battle of their own. So really, it could be a 5-way fight here if the 3 in front of them actually get into a scuffle and brings these 2 into play.
Yeah, the thing is that, you know, the cars in front, and in particular these are the Pantera Racing Team drivers of Randy Go, Aiden Yi, and Ezra Collin. Like, Randy's done very well. It's already within half a second of Duran, but his teammates are not being able to keep up at all. 3 seconds between himself and Aiden Yi, and a further another 2.5 seconds between himself and Ezra Collin, as Ronaldo might have almost missed the braking there, but fortunately was able to avoid running into the back of Rainudu Karunaratne. So still remaining outside of the points here. In the meantime, Yash Qayyum currently keeping the chase going on to Colin. Has been at it for such a long time right now. This is going to be the moment finally where he makes that move. He's getting the slipstream nice and gently off of the back of Ezra's car. It's going to looking like he's trying to make a turn in from the outside. Let's see if this is going to work out for him here. Braking hard, going extremely wide, trying to carry as much average speed, but Ezra Collins still is able to cover the exit, so still remains in 7th for now. But Yash Qayyum still continues to keep that pressure going on the next bit of the straight. Bit of a left-hand sweeper coming up here, and Yash is in the perfect position right now to take it from Ezra Collins. Ezra now forced to take out the wide side, and Yash Qayyum slings it. Oh, bumps over the curbs, almost runs into Ezra, who retakes his position and says thank you very much.
And behind them, Aditya Nugroho might have been watching in horror or glee, depending on how you look at it, because that's a free position in the making. 2 free positions in the making if they wipe each other out. As, oh no, Nugroho goes wide. He slides it around the outside. There was a bit of lag there for a second, but luckily though, no collision between these 3. But having said that, they will have, no doubt have brought the other 3 behind into play, which includes Renato Alejado and Adri Amit. Adri is now on the cusp of the top 10 as well.
Yeah, and while we were talking all about this here, Bradley Liu has just been overtaken here by Randy Go. So Randy is now moved up into 4th place here, and Bradley is just left out in the lurch, unfortunately. And this goes to show like how much faster Randy is compared to his teammates right now. He's a whole like 3 seconds now ahead of Aiden Yi entirely. It's over the course of the last 5 minutes. So impressive performance, impressive gains here being done by Randy Go.
And I did say earlier that he is stepping up to the plate. He's stepping up for the Teachers Pantera team, being the captain of it all. And he's leading by example by really putting it to the guys in front. And of course, he's still not out of the equation in terms of championship fight too, because any points that he gains right now will be so important.
I think Qayyum is going for another move on Ezra Collin one more time right now. Let's have a look at that battle. Look at it around the outside, just like we saw before in the previous attempt.
Oh.
But this time it's looking a little bit loose on the outside. This might open up opportunity for Nugroho to try to pounce on this. Yash Qayyum is no longer as close as to Ezra last time around in the previous lap. And Aditya Nugroho, while he looked like he was in a position here, he's going to have to do it under braking though. Seems to still not be able to find that speed. It's still a very fast left-hand sweeper here, to be fair. Bit of a hard braking right now as Aditya Nugroho continues to shadow Qayyum. Oh, looking like I think Yash Qayyum's rear tires might be cooked at this point because he's sliding all over the place right now. Really trying so hard to find the inside of Ezra, but still failing to find the speed differential that he needs to make the pass. Ooh, having another peek at the inside, but decides against it at the last moment. Now takes a tight line, but that seems to have psyched out Ezra Collin. He goes completely wide, and Yash Qayyum pounces on the opportunity, pounces on the apex, and pounces his way into 7th place.
You might say that's aggressive driving, a bit out of the book of certain drivers in Asia, but really, that's how it gets the job done, because you're spooking the driver up in front, and that really has paid dividends, only for a while, because here's Ezra coming back at him. Wow, he cuts across coming to the final corner. Does he get it stop in time? Yes, he does, but he loses momentum, and it's a drag race now across the start-finish line. And again, Nugroho might be watching in absolute glee.
Yeah, he might be looking like he wants to try to take around the outside, making the 3 wide situation, although maybe that might just be because of the ping right now. Ezra goes a little bit wide over the curbs this time. Doesn't seem to have slowed him down too much, though. He will continue this drag race together with Qayyum all the way to the 3rd turn.
Yep, and look at that. There's that 3 wide situation you said before.
Yep.
Ezra bounces into the side of Qayyum, and both of them break so hard that they break this are glowing like mad here, and it's now reversed in roles between Qayyum and Colin, because now Colin's the one that's actually doing the chasing.
This is exciting racing here, guys, and the battle for 7th place is still within the points. It's still for relative scraps, but again, this is the scrap of scraps, I should say, here for the Copper class here, because this is absolutely brilliant racing. Even at this stage now, Adrian Ahmed, the person in 10th place, is now joined into this battle. Nugroho momentarily disappears off our screens there, but he's still in 9th place, though, thankfully. Adrian Ahmed still, I think, still has to find another way to get past him, because right now it's getting really chaotic up here in 9th place.
Oh, really harem-scarum stuff there between these guys. And it's not even sure whether or not these guys might have gotten a penalty or 2 from going offline. So somehow they're still together. And, well, most of the comments right now are about the Itashas in other classes. We'll get into that very soon. But right now, the battle for the championship is what we're concerned for. We're waiting to see how the resolution to this particular one goes, because here's Ezra Collins still on the back of Koyum. Oh, they touched! They touched that time!
No.
And, whoa! That could have easily gone wrong, because if he got in any harder there, it would have been huge damage for both drivers.
Yeah, there was a very light touch there, not too heavy, but unfortunately that's forced Ezra now to back out completely, so that's a 1.5 second gap now to Caillou. It's going to be a bit of breathing space right now, and that's going to be a good opportunity for us here to try to take stock of the situation. So as of right now, Aditya Nugroho has already been passed here by Adrian Ahmed, so Adrian moves up into 9th place here, with a bit more spaced up between himself and Ezra Collins. So Adrian is probably going to have to run defense for the rest of this run here. In the meantime, the race is already approaching in the last 10 seconds here. So SM Fauzi, aka Miles Shinoda, is now continuing his victory lap, as it were, because as it stands, he's probably going to be able to overtake Durant by quite a bit, as Durant Abesekera is 2 car places behind him right now. So that's certainly going to be a very healthy lead by the end of round number 3.
And of course, we have to take stock as well, as the drop points are going to come into play. Your worst round between rounds 1 and 3 will be the one that will be dropped. So your best scores will count with your final round score. That's what Fauzi will be aiming for right now, because round 1 he was a bit anonymous, but round 2 and 3, he has turned up the wick, and he now has turned into a championship contender. Here he comes out of the final corner. Brake discs are glowing, and he takes another victory here and takes full control of the championship lead.
That's right, and his teammate Melvin Malik will be joining in behind him within a couple seconds. He finds a checkered flag just ahead of Durant Abesekera from Sri Lanka. Randy Go will be claiming 4th position, the highest finish here for his team, the TGS Pantera team here. Bradley Liu will be following behind him, and you can see Aiden Yi also taking the checkered flag along with Kayyum and Ezra Collins. Adrian Nugroho were fighting quite hard in that last lap there, but it's Adrian who comes up on top here, finishing in 9th place, and Nugroho will take that 10th place. Jordan McNeil finishes in 11th. Ronaldo Alojado will finish in 12th. Ryandu Karunaratne will finish in 13th. Thiago Pereira in 14th. Martin will finish in 15th place.
So that's your point scorers. And just outside of that is the Tasha runner, which is Wei Shin Wong. Karen from Heaven Burns Red in this one. Trying for the DS Arena IRT team. But apart from that, very, very chopping and changing race. You cannot take your eyes off it. Every single corner, something might have been happening. But overall, up in front, we didn't focus on him too much. SM Fauzi takes another win, and he will no doubt be happy. As you can see there, the 2 Papega guys doing Papega stuff in the gravel trap. And the 3rd one joins them for good measure as well. Into the barriers they go. Luckily, it's the end of the race. But Fauzi takes another step towards challenging for the title with this win, Vic.
Yep, it's certainly a strong challenge coming here for SM Fauzi, aka Miles Shinoda. Great racing we've seen here in Coppa class, but we're still not done yet. We still have the second half of this Buriram round to go yet. So we're going to be doing race number 2 with a reverse grid starting from 10th place. So Nugroho will finish in 10th. He's now going to be the one starting on the front row alongside Adrian Ahmed. So that's going to be an opportunity now for a rematch between 2 of those drivers who came so close towards the end of race number 1. As for Fauzi, as well as Melvin Malik, both of them will be starting from 9th and 10th 10th and 9th respectively here. So they, whatever positions they're able to cut in front, that's going to be additional bonus points on top of whatever they earned from race number 1, isn't it?
Indeed, and case in point, of course, because qualifying, we saw how the tables turned between Fauzi and Abesekera. It's already 1 extra point taken into Fauzi's favor. So more towards this, he will be in firm control. But again, the caveat, we might have some extra points taken away. Some of the points taken away because of counting the drop scores.
Yeah.
Your worst score between round 1 to round 3 will be taken out. Your best 2 scores there will be counted towards your final round. So still not decided just yet. And this drop scores it's actually put into this so that we could still maintain a close championship fight and keep it fair for those guys who have misfortune to say connection troubles or they got taken out of the race or any miscellaneous problems in between, at least they can just amend that by taking one race out of their equation.
And of course, that means, especially for you guys who are watching at home, it means that you must watch every single round here at the eRacing GP because nothing is ever set in stone until the very last race of the last round here. So make sure you guys subscribe and follow us on all of our social medias here to keep up to date with Global Edition 17. So we've got 1 more minute here to go before we enter race number 2. Reverse grid will be applied now for our top 10. So therefore you will see Nugroho and Adrian Ahmed up in the front, and Fauzi as well as Malik will be starting from 10th and 9th. So they're right smack dab in the middle of the pack. Points only given to the top 10 finishers. So this is now up to them to see how many cars can they overtake over the course of these next 15 minutes.
And we can cycle through some of the views there. Just now we saw it right at the back. Zachary Lim, he's got a mountain of work to do. Up in front, Nugroho, he only has about 200 meters to the start, from the start-finish line to turn number 1. He has a short run-up. And Fauzi, race 1 winner, right in the middle of the pack here, Vic.
Yep, it is certainly going to be race on in a few moments now. Lights on the gantry are now getting lit up here. Red lights are coming on here for our Coppa class, and we will be off now for our second race here in round number 3. Aditya Rojo now having a good start here. Will be able to pull ahead of Adrian Ahmed by a whole half second before that first turn. Qayyum and Bradley are now fighting in the middle there. I think Aiden has managed to slip his way all the way into the middle. No, Bradley has actually slid a little bit. And 2, oh my goodness, both of our top 2 finishers in the first race have now crashed each other, spun around, and are completely left out in the 20th place there for SM Fauzi. Melvin Malik still struggling and trying to get his car back on track.
And you can see plenty of drivers being involved in that, but Fauzi and Malik, the 2 drivers who were for DDR SRT right up in front, are now almost close to the back because that start was so shambolic. And even more so, look at that, more and more drivers are gone off. There's Thiago Pereira going off to the side, but championship leader SM Fauzi has gone off, and there's a car bang on cue right in front of our cameras going off there for good measure. Zacharias Wong didn't have the best of ways to start, but compared to that, where is Abe Sakara?
Abe Sakara is still in the middle of the pack. He's still in 7th place right now. In front of him, you got Randy Go, Qayyum, and Jordan McNeil all fighting and tussling with each other here. A bit of a shuffle of the order as it was. Kashas Qayyum takes to the grass a little bit to try to find some speed or try to find some space here, but Randy's just blocking him at every single turn right on that racing line. Qayyum goes for a dive on the inside, hard on the brakes here, moves up ahead of Randy Go. Can he keep the position? Yes, he does.
Wow, Qayyum, that place just now, remember he outfoxed Jordan McNeil there. Ezra Collin earlier with that particular move, and he's done it again. He really loves that corner, and in particular, he likes to pounce on one of the Panteras.
Yeah, I think at this point now, the Pantera teams will likely know that this is his favorite fighting grounds, as it were, here. As Duran Abisekera continues to shadow the rest of these drivers, letting them sort things out first before he can find the stability, find the pace he needs in order to try to make a challenge up to the front. Because with both SM Fauzi as well as Melvin Malik out of the points, technically, this could leave the door wide open for Abisekera to regain some momentum here.
Yep, and focusing on the race leader just now, Adrian actually has put this race 1 woes to the side, and he's up in front, leading the way here. So at least he could try to salvage some points in his bid for the championship title. As here comes,
whoa!
Qayyum got a big one there from Randy Go. Randy somehow just outbraked himself, but they did not take each other out. Again, testament to how these drivers managed to get these cars under control after getting hit. But Randy Go then probably had some damage up in front. We saw in the damage indicator how much he got from there. It was a bit yellowish, I think.
It was definitely quite a bit, but I think it's still in the orange, maybe? Oh, sorry, that's a different car that we're seeing right now, but that could be a little bit controversial if Randy Go ended up taking out Qayyum completely from this battle, but it seems like both of them are still going to be at it right now for that 5th place. Yash Qayyum continuing to shadow along behind Jordan McNeil here, trying to take his slipstream off, while in the meantime, Randy Go still continuing to chase in behind him, looking to try to pick up some pieces, or in a very nefarious way, perhaps run some interference here to help his teammate, who is under pressure right now from Qayyum.
Yeah, let's see what Qayyum has in his locker. He couldn't overtake that time on McNeil in his favorite corner. The third to last corner before we come up to this heavy braking point. And we saw quite a few drivers overtake here before as well. But not this time, however. But further up in front, a couple of Panteras getting involved too. Oh no, Kaiyum goes off a bit wide. And this will allow Randy Go to get up to the back of him.
Fauzi right now is recovering himself up into 15th place. Still a bit outside of the points at the moment, while Kaiyum now is under pressure here. Randy this time around. Randy is already closed up here under braking. Now is trying to force Kaiyum to play defensive here instead of continuing to attack Jordan, his teammate up in front. But Kaiyum, this is literally, you know, where you as a racing driver have to be able to handle that pressure, isn't it? And also be able to continue to apply that pressure to Jordan. Under braking here, he looks like he's trying to get alongside. I think when the server updated, we saw him coming alongside, but unfortunately gets into collision there with Jordan McNeil. Randy Go now moves up in front, and he's up in the sixth place. Kaiyum now left back to square one.
Yep, and he has to tackle all 4 Panteras in front. As meanwhile, another of the Panteras right behind here is actually battling with Thiago Pereira and SM Fauzi, but Fauzi has actually gotten away from them.
Yep.
Seth Martin is now looking at this a bit of a battle between Miguel Iqbal and Damien Arif. Damien on the inside between the two youngsters, and Damien takes position 16 away from Mikael, but Mikael tries to come back. Yep, it's typical youngsters fighting, isn't it? It's just between here and there.
It's all for experience here, especially for the Coppa class, which is mostly comprised of aspiring professionals in the sim racing world here. So it's great to get them a little bit of that experience, and certainly a lot of experience on hand here for SM Fauzi. He successfully makes the move against Rainido Karunaratne, and it's moved up now to 12th place. Only 3 cars separate him and Duran Abisekera, so he's literally on the right track right now. We still have a lot of time, 9 minutes and a half in fact here for race number 2, so certainly he could catch up with the rest yet.
Yep, but he's only about 2 positions away from points. Next up in front of him is Bernardo Alejado, and that will be slightly tricky, but we saw just now how Alejado can be a little bit flustered when the pressure gets to him, as now Bradley Liu is getting up to the back of Wei Shin Wong and the Heaven Burns Red liveried IRT car.
Yeah, and I think I also saw Randy Go overtake Jordan McNeil, so Randy still remains the faster of the Pantera cars right now. Duran makes the move on the Yash Kaiyum, moves up into 7th. Is probably going to be able to keep it, or is Yash going to be able to fight back? He managed to hook in onto the actually this is going to be on the outside on the next left-hand sweeper, so Yash is just doing everything he can right now to keep up with Duran Abisekera at this point, but he's unfortunately going to be left at a bit of a disadvantage right now, given that Duran is having a bit of a dense line. But look at the speed he's carrying. He's going over the curbs quite aggressively though, so is he going to be able to keep it together coming in the next turn? Yes, he will. A little bit of slide there on the exit, but still is able to get his position back here from Duran Abisekera.
And sadly for one of the Panteras, a driver has dropped out of the race, and that is Benjamin Jacobs, so he's not able to join his other teammates, Aiden Yee, Ezra Collin, Randy Go, and Jordan McNeil up in the upper echelons. Though he can console himself for one thing, that at least Seth Martin is the only other TGS Pantera driver who's not in the fight for points. But other than that, this is a good payday for the Pantera guys if they maintain where they are right now.
Yeah, we go back onto Randy Go. He's already overtaken 1 teammate. He's got 2 more teammates up ahead of him. It's a whole train of Pantera cars up here, starting with Aiden Yee, Ezra Collin. Now Randy Go has overtaken Ezra now to take that place. Jordan McNeil following closely behind him. It's very much a whole pack of cars right now, looking to gain quite a lot of points here from the Pantera, the TGS Pantera racing team here in race number 2. At the moment also, I'm keeping an eye on Bradley Liu. Yes, now he is currently locked in battle here at Wei Shen Wong. And it's gotten close a few times already, as I saw from the timing tower. Is this going to be his opportunity, though? Coming around from the outside, but again, as we've seen before, it's not necessarily guaranteed here for Wei Shen Wong to be able to defend if Bradley is able to find his way through and exit. But Wei Shen, to his credit, has done it quite well, keeping a good average speed here, and still keeps the inside coming into left-hand sweeper after this.
They go side by side, and we saw previously how Kaiyum actually just swept around and get the position away from Abisekera. Bradley Liu would like to do the same thing, and they're still going at it side by side. Wow, good bit of respect there from both of them, especially for Wei Shin Wong, because he's on the inside. He could have easily elbowed Bradley out of the way, but Bradley, though, will say thank you very much for the racecraft. Now I want to take the position away.
Yeah, but he still has to fight it tooth and nail though. Wei Sheng is not letting up on the gas pedal at all. Bradley is still having to play some creative lines here in order to find his way through. He is able to cut in front of him on the next apex though, but Wei Sheng, he may, I thought he was going to have a look on the inside there, but no, it looks like Bradley has finally nailed down that maneuver and stays up in 9th place.
Wow, good bit of driving, but that unfortunately, to their detriment, has allowed Ronaldo J. Alojado to get up to the back of them. He's only about 1.5 seconds behind. So if they go at it hammer tongs again, like now, there's Nak going on the inside. So Nak Wong, Wei Shin Nak Wong goes back into P9, and Bradley once again gets absolutely dunked at the final corner.
And this is brilliant racing. Look at that. Bradley immediately getting him back on the main straight again. Has the inside on this first turn, so will be able to reclaim the position ahead of Wei Sheng. This is brilliant racing here, and it's literally right on the edge of the points here, ladies and gentlemen, for the Copper class. Incredible. But again, as you said, the more they continue fighting here, the more it's going to bring Ronaldo back into play. So if anything, they really want to be able to pull ahead of each other. But in terms of pace, it's just so evenly matched right now. It still could be anyone's game here.
Indeed. And speaking of Ronaldo Alojado, behind him is SM Fauzi. So that is the championship leader with possibility of at least getting 1 or 2 points. And I did say at the top of the show, 1 or 2 points is still very, very good in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, he's still going to try very much to at least limit whatever damage. I mean, again, the spin out that he had with his teammates started at the very early stage of this race here, so he's taken all that time right now to recollect himself and get himself back on track here to at least finish in the points. He still has another 5 minutes to do so, so still some time yet to see whether or not he will be able to accomplish this, and especially with the fighting still going on here for 9th and 10th place, perhaps that moment has now come presented itself before him here. He just needs to be able to get past Ronaldo in order to be able to fight for some points.
Yep, and after that will be Nak, will be his immediate target, either Nak or Bradley Liu, because that's the two of them for position. But the way that they fought, it really will bring them back into play anytime soon. Well, just escape this battle for the time being. Should we stay or should we just go? Because it still looks quite close. We want to focus on Randy Go, who's actually attacking for the podium with Aiden Yi, his teammate right in front of him.
Well, we'll have to see. It seems like the Randy, we know he is faster than Aiden Yi in that last race, and no doubt that pace will continue to help him a lot here. But let's see whether or not the racecraft is equally as strong here. But I think from Aiden's part, he's still defending hard, even though it's literally against the captain of his own team here. So certainly there's no love lost here between these drivers here, as right now SM Fauzi, it's now side by side with Ronaldo. He will be moving up to 11. He can complete that move by the end of the exit here, forcing Ronaldo off the grass. That's going to be enough to slow him down there, and for Fauzi to secure that 11th place.
Wow, a lot of drivers seem to like that corner, that second corner after the straight. And we did say earlier, if you get enough of a drive, that will be the prime overtaking spot. But Alojado comes back at him.
Nice.
And that is the Russell Reyes school of attacking right in the four. We know how he can actually do that. Whoa, look at that. They go again side by side. Unfortunately, we missed the battle between Aiden Yi and Randy Go because this is also for the championship lead. So we have to focus on that. Fauzi has actually lost out to Karunaratne. And there we go. There is SM Fauzi stuck in P13 and further away from the top 10. Now we have to go back to Aiden Yi.
Yep, Aiden Yi has already been overtaken here by Randy Go. So Randy is now on the podium here for TGS Pantera. And they're still close, mind you, to both of the leaders here. AJ Ahmed has currently been leading race. He's been leading the race for quite a while here, it seems. But unfortunately, we had not been paying too much attention to it for him so far. Nugroho still in second place right now, and has pretty much just kept it all throughout. He's certainly going to be very happy, even though he may have lost out the lead here to Adre. But certainly for Adre, it's certainly going to make up for a lot of that disappointment from race 1, isn't it?
Absolutely. He was taken out earlier, but then managed to recover well to get back up to the top 10 and put himself in this position that he really wanted. Though, in the grand scheme of things, once the points come tallied, let's see whether or not this can actually put him into the title fight, but we'll wait and see until the points come in.
Indeed it will. Fauzi is now battling with Karina Ratney, and this is literally for 13 places. Karina Ratney has been certainly an interloper right now in this battle. He's managed to, he early on was overtaking Ronaldo, but I think he made a mistake here, so he's put back into the clutches of Fauzi here, who is currently leading him, coming into this left-hand sweeper. This long two series of corners here kind of practically feels like two back-to-back turns, and making a good position here. Roll right. Oh, Rousey just gave that little bit of space there and allowed Karina Ratney to continue running alongside, but that certainly looks a little bit too close for comfort. A right-hand sweeper comes up next year, and Fauzi will be able to close the door on Rainidu.
Whoa! And again, just cuts across there. That is relatively fair, all things considered, but that is also quite aggressive defending just to get the corner, and Karina Ratney probably got spooked by that. But Fauzi, though, is trying to get up to the back of Alejado and Pereira. This might be for positions outside this points, but again, it's just a psychological thing, isn't it? You might not be able to get the points today on this particular race, but you know full well that it might just be for the sake of your psyche coming to the final right. As there we go. Alejado leaves the door open, and Fauzi just elbows him out of the way. Seems to be his very thing.
Randy Go is actually overtaken the Groho, and Randy Go is now up into second place here. I think the Groho may have slowed down significantly because the gap between him and Adrian Ahmed was not this wide before. So I think that Didier Nugroho is struggling right now to keep his tires performance at the very tail end of this race. So TJ Pantera might have just picked up some freebies right now towards the very end. Ezra Collin also kind of in trouble right now, actually, comparatively, because he's been overtaken here by both Abid Sekera as well as Yas Qayyum. So that's such a dichotomy, isn't it? One team member from TJ Pantera doing so well, getting up to second, another team member dropping in the points here.
Yeah, that's quite weird, isn't it? That it could happen like this. But that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's probably just not his day, but he will be happy knowing the fact that he scored double points in these races today. Meanwhile, Adramit, speaking of points, will be laughing all the way to the bank, knowing the fact that he's actually led the way and was pretty much unchallenged. Yes, the immediate drivers in the vicinity right behind him is very close, but he has held his nerve, kept his powder dry, and now he's ready to go to the start-finish straight and just pull away from the rest of the field here to get a priceless win, Vic.
There's going to be a lot of calculations to be made here, but given how tight things are at the Copper class, you know, I expect this performance to continue on to the final round. To the checkered flag here goes Adrian Ahmed. Randy Go finishes in second place. Aditya Nugroho in third place. Aiden Yee finishes in fourth. Jordan McNeil finishes respectable fifth place here. Duran Abe Sekera, winner of leader, actually in his second place finisher. He is currently finishing in sixth place here, ahead of Yash Qayyum in seventh. Ezra Collin finishes in eighth place. Bradley Yu finishes in ninth, and Wei Shen Wong finishes in 10th place.
And there we go. The Heaven Burns Red livery at least does get a point towards the end. As there's a bit of a slight incident after the checkered flag between one of the cars in the DDSRT. Not sure if that was Melvin Malik or SM Fauzi, but whatever it is, Fauzi with an absolute mare of a race to this one. Definitely would like to chuck this into the bin and focus on the final round. But from the highest of highs of dominating race number one, but falling out in race number two.
Yeah, it's such a shame finishing outside the points like this, and with Abe Sekera able to gain a lot more points compared to him in race number two means that, you know, in spite of the fact that he did his best for race number one, may not been it may still leave that championship up in the air right now, at least between the two of them here. We still have yet to see how it unfolds, especially when the official results comes in at the very end, and that we will know about that until, you know, later on in the weekend here. So, well, but again, still impressive racing we see here from our Copper class drivers. I'm still enjoying a lot of what I saw, especially in the midfield there. A lot of side-by-side action that we saw between the Sekira, Colin. We saw even SM Fauzi, even though he was outside the point, still was doing a massive titanic job here to try to get back up in 11. Unfortunately, got stalled out towards the end there, so unfortunately will not be able to get any points, but it was still exciting to watch there nevertheless.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just hammer and tongs racing, shall we say, between everybody involved. But it's not the end of the proceedings, because we still have two more pieces of action to go, because bronze is coming out with a pair of races, and it will be blockbuster as well. And of course, gold and silver with the hypercars and LMP2s coming up later on tonight. So Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We'll be joining you after this for bronze, right after our word from our sponsors.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
And we're back here for round number 3 of eRGP. This is at Buriram Circuit, aka Chang International Circuit. We have just witnessed the end of our Coppa class race, so now we move up to our bronze class. That's right, this is the GT3 racing class here that we have in eRGP, and certainly one that a lot of people in the chat here have certainly been excitedly waiting for here for sure. I mean, enjoying a lot of comments that we're seeing coming in here from both YouTube and Facebook, so just keep them coming, guys. We thank you all so much for the support that you're showing here for not only your favorite drivers but also for the show that we're doing out here as well. So right now, let's go ahead and have a look at how the championship looks like here for our bronze class. Ethan Lau is the leader by quite the country mile, I have to say. 86 points to Ngoyong Gent's 64. Both of them being teammates though, isn't it? So it's still very much a friendly rivalry between the two. Although I would mention that Ngoyong Gent has have been making improvements. I do want to see if he is going to be able to challenge for a possible race win during the season though.
Well, unfortunately, I think he will not be able to join this round because he is not in our server, so he'll probably take this as a drop round. But apart from that, Ethan Lowe will probably be wanting a good round on this one. Going into the final round, drop his worst one and be in really good nick for this championship run in. Jeremy out in third, that's a real surprise because he's definitely been improving quite a lot as the seasons come by. Arman Abdullah, we mentioned him in the previous round as well in Sokol. He really made some inroads. And Elliot Stevenagel, he is here today after missing last round when he was out playing baseball.
What an American thing, isn't it? Missing out on a championship here just because you need to play America's favorite game, for sure. Alfiko Azuka is one of the Southeast Asians who are able to make it into the standings here in 6th right now. Zairef Adam Anwar Shazli, also from Pega, rounds it up in 7th. Chong Jin Bin, Naufal Afio Anafi, and Adam Hakim rounds up our top 10 driver standings right now, as all of our bronze drivers are now taking to the track here to go into qualifying.
And we did say earlier Yongjan might not be in. Well, he snuck his way in.
Hey, there you go.
There we go. Because we didn't see his name just now in the timing standings at all, but he managed to get it in there, and he's ready to rock and roll. But he has Ethan Lau as one of his teammates to fight with, and that is not an easy proposition because he might be a kid, but he's proven well that he can race against the big boys.
Indeed. So, well, it's going to be I mean, for the most part, bronze has very much been dominated here by the Pepega Racing team. That's why the bulk of the points has allowed them to stay on top of the team standings for quite a long time, because they all not only run the same car, but they also have a lot of high caliber drivers amongst the Pepega Racing team drivers themselves. There are no slouches when it comes to both qualifying as well as racing here in ERGP. So we're going to be certainly seeing if we can they will continue to expand on this trend here, or will there be other interlopers who will finally be able to break through what is kind of like the wall that Pepega Racing team tends to build up in the top 5. So we'll have to see how that turns out. I mean, we've already run through 2 different rounds so far, including one longer form 30-minute race. Now we're going to be back into a 15-minute and a 15-minute race here in Buriram circuit. But yeah, I mean, it's still, I want to see other teams start to challenge the sort of chokehold that Pepega Racing team seems to have amongst the top runners here in the bronze class.
Indeed, and it's kind of crazy to think that the Pepega Red Pack team, because they joined forces for this one. We did allude to last season that they sort of worked together to try and get the drivers into prime positions. But now, with the marriage between the two teams, it's becoming even more clear that the cooperation's there. But make no mistake, this is not an outlier in this championship, because we got other teams like DSRT and HSM also combining forces because they're part of the same communities as well. So it's just partnerships working together. It's kind of like IndyCar or NASCAR with the charter system. Some people buy charters so they can actually join the races. So it's not such a surprise if we are going to say so ourselves. Anyway, back to the business of the real racing. Oh, there's a spin already, and that might be Yongjan, isn't it? That looked like Yongjan in the barriers.
I think this car, I can't quite tell exactly whose car is that from the track map, but you might be right. I don't quite see where Goyong Jen is on the timing tower at the moment, so...
Oh, he's back in the pits.
Oh, he's back. Yeah, probably
so
teleported out immediately after that then.
So that was Yongjan. Not the best way to start qualifying, but he still has the other half left to go, so he's plenty of time to do it. But does he have enough time to challenge this guy, or rather this kid, number 420, what is it? Ethan Lowe, up in front, and as usual, Lee just winning on it. Look at the gap there between himself and, surprisingly, Dave Chen, 0.2 of a second. And
but as you say that, Hakim has just set a time that's within 5 milliseconds of Ethan Lau.
Wow. And that is Adam Hakim in the other of the Red Pack Pepega cars. This one is the more reddish of the two colors available, purple and red. That means that he aligns with the Red Pack team. What a run so far. So that will be putting a span into the works then if the Pepega Armada is concerned, because normally they'll just be the championship contenders in front, but Adam Hakim says, I like a piece of that.
Well, I mean, all's fair in love and war, isn't it? I mean, even though both of these teams are in collaboration, they are still racing each other out on track regardless, though. So there's still very much a lot of pride on the side of the drivers here still on the line. I'm just going to Hanska, though. Wow, 1/10 seconds faster than Ethan Lau, snatching away that provisional pole position away here, and in an Audi R8 no less.
Well, he's a brave man to do so, isn't it? The Audi, not many people choose it. It's off meta. But regardless of that, Alfika Haska has made it work, and certainly he has enough pace in him to try and go for another one. So he's one of the first drivers to cross through the Pepega Red Pack barrier, and let's see whether or not they will respond in kind. Here comes Ethan Lowe across the line out of the final corner. Would this be an improvement as he does so? No improve just yet, but no doubt that there will be more and more Papega Red Pack drivers willing to just put their mark in the top 10 here.
Yeah, no, that last lap was deleted actually. It was actually like 1/10 second faster, but unfortunately it was not a legal lap, so therefore he did not improve it in practical terms here. So very unfortunate, but Ethan Lau can certainly try again. Still has more than 3 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Could potentially even jump back in the pits, get a fresh set tires, and still have enough time to complete a flying lap. So we'll see how that would transpire. As in the meantime, still a very Mercedes heavy top end here for the timing tower, as you can see, because outside of Aziko Asuka, everyone else behind him are all using the Mercedes AMG here.
Yep, and we're running through the cars that are going to be non-Mercedes. One of them is Chong Jin Bin in the GSR McLaren. You can see the logo right on the rear wing just there. Fahad Ghafour, our server master, that's his team racing. And thankfully, though, he's managed to put in livery together so that we can identify who's who in the cars here. But Jingbin has been quite a surprise revelation in this season, coming in slightly after round number 1, but he's definitely proven to be competitive, to be in the top 10 every race. Meanwhile, speaking of top 10, look who's in third. Yuan Gavin Bugayong, the Filipino, has put it up there in the Callaway Corvette.
I love this really, not only because, you know, we're having someone like Yuan Gavin finally getting himself up into the top 3 in qualifying, no less, and also in a Corvette, but it's actually sort of breaking the trend a little bit here for having all the Mercedes really dominating the top. It seems like the other cars are starting to really spread their legs here. You even got Jeremy Yao in the BMW qualifying in 5th right now. So, wow, it's getting very nice, nicely competitive here out in this qualifying session.
Indeed, and that's what we love to see, isn't it? We want to see more diverse manufacturers up in front, and no doubt it has been quite good today, but still we haven't seen the race just yet. As we see in P9, it's Luqmanul Hakim, who's also in a Ferrari no less. Quite a popular car, but not in this particular mod. It has been a little bit hit and miss. And speaking of hit and miss, look at where Elliot Stuenagle is. Only just P13 so far. So the championship contender, he wants to make this round count because, again, remember, he missed round 2 because of going to a baseball game. He has to make it count. Otherwise, he will have a mountain to climb coming to the final round of the season.
Well, let's hope that he's just trying to get himself warmed up yet again, or perhaps still struggling to try to find some good time. In the meantime, Eric Satria, Ford Mustang, makes it into provisional pole here. An incredible time, actually, a 134.462. Wow, the times are just falling one by one here, and I think, you know, I want to say track evolution, but it seems like all the other drivers that are not the Repega Racing team here are definitely stepping out of play. Ethan Lau has just struck back though, 134.424, as I was literally talking about them here. Ethan Lau is just really just ready to try to prove me wrong here.
That is the return of the Jedi, shall we say. But that is the way to do it, isn't it? Number 1 for car number 420. That's what the team would love to see. He really has been a revelation this season after his Coppa class triumph last time out, and he wants to make it 2 in 2 in this one. But, you know, qualifying is one thing, the job's still not done yet. He still has the pair of races to go, and that could easily upend his season if something were to go wrong.
And mind you, there's still a lot of other drivers who are still yet to finish their flying laps here, so we can still see more times join the top 5 yet. As of right now, it's a very diverse one. Errol Student Nagel now moves up into the top 5 here. 134.7, good enough there to keep him ahead of Buga Yong. So you'll be starting alongside. Checker flags are already coming out here. Qualifying session is closing here as Eric Satria slows down before a line. That's going to be a cancel there. No lap improvement here for Eric Satria. He remains in P2. Chong Jin Bin moves up into 4th place now. An incredible time of 134.7. 13 actually matching the time that Aziko Asuka was I think Hiko Asuka actually made here. So yeah, literally down to the millisecond here for the two of them.
Up to the 1,000th. So, but the thing is, Alfie Gaska gets there because he set the time first. Let's go, Jin Bin will prove that one wrong because here he comes out of the final corner, looking good so far. Is he gonna make it to P3? No, he
No,
doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Oh.
Well, he got hopes up for a second, and so was Elliot, who's unfortunately has called it a day here.
Yep.
There he is, and he's not looking so happy at this point. He's not his usual cheerful self, or rather, very meme-worthy self when he's talking to the camera. But apart from that, at least he'll be happy knowing that he's not that far away from his teammate.
I mean, you know what? Like, that tells me that Elliot is taking this a lot more seriously than usual here. So, oh, okay, so you were right. Thank you to Elzra Aliyu here for correcting us here. SM Fauzi is Mamato-kun, and Melvin Malik is Miles Shinoda.
Well, it's a class too late, but nonetheless, we got the clearance live on there. So hopefully you can take the mental note for that next time.
Yep, for sure.
Anyway, Ethan Lau, your pole sitter once again, and definitely be one of those guys that seems to be unflappable, isn't it? The pressure is on, but he just knows when to step up to the occasion and really just give a sucker punch to the field when you least expect it.
And just by barely, like, we're talking about a margin of 40 milliseconds here between him and Eric Satria. So this literally, I mean, we also see this in the qualifying for Coppa as well. It seems like there really is a very optimized line that you can apply here at this track, and if you deviate a little bit too much for it, it's going to cost you a lot. So to see that both like Ethan Lau and Eric Satria are both nailing almost identical times, Afiko Asuka and Chong Jin Bin as well on different cars, mind you, it just tells me that like the margin of error when it comes to qualifying, extremely narrow here.
It's literally, you can't even put a piece of paper between anybody here. It's just so close, isn't it? But for the time being, though, qualifying is one thing. Now we got the races, and we have about 10 drivers exactly within the same postcode of 34 seconds. 134s from Ethan Lau all the way to Dave Chen. So top 10 exactly are within the same postcode. Now, as qualifying is ticking over to the race, we might have enough time to explain to you the point system for this one, because race format A makes a return, because we've been using race format A for about, well, since forever actually, because 2021 was the last time that we used anything that is close to being a format B or C, because it's slightly different. Now format A makes a return again after going to B while we were in Sokol, and here's the points, how it looks for those who are actually wondering where the points format goes for every single race.
Yeah, again, you know, format A, I think we can safe to say this is like the classic format here for the ERGP, given that we've run this for so many times. But just to remind you guys, basically top 5 finishers in qualifying will receive points starting from 5 points all the way down to 1. Race number 1 will give you points within the top 15 based on the results here. So that's 25 points for first place, going all the way down to 1 point for 15th place. Race number 2 will only give points for the top 10 here, and that's with the top 10 reverse grid applied on top of that based on the finishing order from race number 1. So therefore, a lot of attention certainly will be on, you know, race number 1 in terms of getting maximum amount of points, especially for the midfield. For race number 2, it is often seen as more trying to get additional points, especially if you're one of the top 10 finishers, or even in the case of SM Fauzi, you know, trying to recover back from a really bad start here means that he will be losing out of points. So even if you are in that top 10, it's never guaranteed. Here we go. Lights on the gantry are lighting up right now as I speak. The bronze class for Global Edition 17, round number 3 is now go. As Ethan Lau and Eric Satria now both go pedal to the metal. Looks like Ethan will still be able to get a nice pull ahead. And after all, he is on the racing line. He sweeps in now. All the rest of the cars following in behind, looking tidy so far.
Whoa!
Bit of a contact at the back there. Massive contact as one of the cars gets slung all the way to the outside. I think that might be Ramos who got caught out there. AJ Beater, right now we're watching him on the back of the pack here, trying to follow the rest as Ethan Lau and Eric Satria continue to stay up in front. Afiko Asuka is attempting to get himself along the outside. Elliot Stuhnagel, a fight for third place as Elliot slips in onto the outside, mind you, of the next turn. This could be a dicey one here for plates on the podium.
Wow, that was a big one though. One of the cars literally got some air. It looked like one of the Fords, but I'm not sure which Ford was that. It wasn't Alan Lowe, because no relation to Ethan, by the way, same name. But somebody got big airtime and just got sent to the field, to the back of the field. Might have been Sherman saying? No, it's not. It's not even Sherman saying either.
Yeah,
so what if it is? we saw a car RPDA, and that put paid any points for them. As meanwhile, Jeremy Yao, who was very fast in qualifying, is being swamped right now. We are trying to keep tabs on every single driver on the grid and try to give them some airtime, because left, right, and center, we get so many drivers being barged out of the way or being in a spin. And case in point, there's the barging. And Adam Hakim getting hit by Hazi Aslan and Dave Chen.
Yeah, this is a fight right now for 9th place, literally. So this is quite a very tight one indeed between Hazik as well as Adam. Hazik has the inside here. Adam Hakim has leave a little bit of space, but James Chen also is facing an attack on the inside there, I think, by Lukman Hakim, who actually overtakes him temporarily. He's still going to be side by side, I believe, between the two of them. Look at that, still too wide here in front as well in the back here. 3 two-way battles going on here. Inside of the midfield, inside the points, mind you. So this is literally for the championship for some of these drivers here. Kenny Lim still trying to come in here. Nyo Young Jen is in 15th place, still attempting to try to get in.
And that's P2 in the championship, by the way. Young Jen hasn't had the best of runs here, so again, he will say that this will be his championship. Oh no! Oh, Young Jen gets tangled within a car there. Mercedes gets spun around. But he will love to actually put this into the bin as his drop round, but not like that. That was a shocking moment there for Young Jen.
Yeah, I think that might be Adam Hakim who got involved in that, or it might be someone else there, but certainly two Mercedes got spun around that time. Ngo Young Jen was able to avoid that, but has actually dropped the place in the process. Now he's going to have to chase after what I believe is Hayden Choi, who is just in front of him. In the meantime, up in the front here, Elliot Student Eagle has successfully maintained his 3rd place position ahead of Asuka, so things are certainly settling down a lot right now for our top 5. Eden Lowe, of course, continuing to stay up in front. Asuka at the moment is 1 second behind Elite Student Eagle, so it certainly might be a bit of time before we will see the two of them butt heads. So if ever during the rest of this race, 11 minutes still remaining here as Elite Student Eagle now focuses in hard on trying to catch up to Eric Satria.
Yeah, but again, this will be considered the race that he has to get points, because otherwise, that will be the end of it, because Ethan up in front will try to just touch and go out of this for a while.
Yeah, Jeremy Yao catching up here to Yuan Gavin Bugayong. I think during the start, both of these drivers actually struggled quite a bit of internet lag there, showing that now Jeremy's in fact actually alongside Bugayong here. He will be in the inside on this turn, but we've seen how things have turned out before. It's never guaranteed to be able to complete it, especially if he cannot close out the exit here. And Yuan Gavin's done well to keep his car in contention here. Coming into the next left-hand sweeper, he is a little bit behind Jeremy Yao though, has back into his slipstream right now to try to keep up with the BMW. Both of these guys really going at it right now, but I think Yuan Gavin Boogie Young may not be able to regain that momentum here and keep Jeremy Yao in check.
Yep. And that is, again, good side-by-side battle. And speaking of side-by-side battling, this is Hakim, Hazi Aslan, and one of the Pepega boys in there. This is Zarif Adam, and Zarif tried to sweep through, but he couldn't get through that time. Now he's side-by-side with Lukman Hakim, takes the position away from the Ferrari driver.
Yep. Brilliant racing here, and again, Lukman Hakim has been butting heads a lot with some of these drivers here. Let's see if he's going to be able to try to stay within touching distance of Zarif Adam, but Zarif, I know, knowing this guy, he's certainly a man on a mission right now. He's not going to be satisfied with his 12th place. He's going to continue to chase up as high as he can. Let's see if he's going to be able to make that progress. Meantime, Gavin Bugayong switches positions again with Jeremy Yao in the last lap. Didn't quite see exactly how that move was made, but it seemed it had been done within the last few quarters, as Jeremy Yao is still within touching distance, still trying to regain that position. May be able to get some good speed here, especially by the time to get to that 3rd turn. And remember, that's where literally the battle between the two of them kicked off last lap. Now you will be able to outbrake him going into Apex first. Will he have braked in time though? Looking nice and neat and tidy. We'll be able to close the door to Yuan Gavin by the time to get to the exit.
Textbook stuff right there, Vic, and again, this is a case of that corner being everybody's favorite corner to overtake, and it's proven once again it will happen regardless.
Yeah, but, I think Zarif Adam is getting that move done right now to Luke Morales. I think Let Ping has finally shown that he's a little bit, actually a little bit more ahead of Shazli than I first thought. Now he's going to try to get alongside for real this time, under braking no less, and will be able to make that move done. 12th place right now for Zarif Adam Anwar Shazli.
Yep, and he just takes the position away from the Filipino. And look at that train of cars right behind Hayden Choi. So many of them, 5, 6 cars, I think, involved in this one. And no doubt, this might just be for points outside, for points that are fringe, but it will be happy for Elliot.
No!
Oh! Young Jack, well, you and I be happy with that one. And Zach Wong followed him almost out of sympathy. Did you see the synchronization?
Ouch. It literally just felt for me like commentator's curse in action right there. A bit unfortunate. I was really going to say it was quite impressive to see all those cars able to literally do pack racing here in GD3, which is exactly what you usually see in real life touring car racing, isn't it? But a little bit unfortunate that did not quite turn out for both of those Mercedes, but we're still seeing plenty of pack racing going on from 21st place here on.
Look at that.
Pingu. Look at that indeed. Massive traffic jam at over 180 miles per hour. It's contact. My goodness, whole chain reaction. That's all these cars pile into each other. Massive, massive damage here. My goodness.
And this is not even for the points. These are guys just fighting for outside positions. But they provided us with a few highlight reels right there. And we were on board with Diomel Pingun there for a second to just see marvel in the chaos that happened.
Oh man. I mean, it just went literally from like touring car like pack racing to literally NASCAR pack racing complete with the big one, isn't it?
Yes. Imagine if 30 people go. Well, we did have a big one before in Sebring just a couple of seasons back, where the cars literally just swooped into the barriers and no one had brakes apart from Arca brakes.
And thankfully, because this is virtual reality, as it were, you know, no damage to anyone's wallets, no damage to anyone's actual cars. It's really just a damage of egos at this point right now, especially given that they're fighting outside of points. And speaking of outside points, I think Hakimi might be thinking about getting himself into a points finishing position here, because it's actually quite close to Lukwan Hakim, who's also close to Hayden Choi, which means it is practically a three-way battle with 2 points paying positions on the line here.
Yep. And Hakimi is another one of those Papega drivers, Papega Red Pack guys. He aligned himself with the Papega team. He didn't have a livery for this one, but for sure the team will make him for one last run, so at least he can show the affiliation right there. But again, points fight battling left, right, and center. Now, Jeremy Yao, and we're going to go for the lead as well, because Eric Satria has actually close to within half a second to Ethan Lau. We'll get back into that one, but for now, Chong Jin Bin is under pressure from Jeremy Yao.
Yeah, Jeremy has been absolutely on fire here throughout, and right now, with Chong Jin Bin being in the sights, he's certainly looking like he wants to put a lesson or two onto him here, closing in on him. Now having a look at the inside, under braking here. Perfect maneuver from Jeremy Yao, but will Chong Jin Bin be able to fight back? He's also got Buga Yong behind him, keeping him in pressure. I think Buga Yong's also trying to keep the fight going on with Jeremy in the process, but Chong Jin Bin is kind of being his obstacle in the way right now. Not going to be able to get through this time around, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and Bugayong and Yao have been fighting each other for a while. Somehow Jing Bin got involved in this, so I think Jin Bin might have had a loss of momentum somewhere, or maybe a slight mistake that allowed these two to get out to the back of him. Bugayong is the next one in line. Jeremy Yao has overtaken, so we're waiting and seeing whether or not something can happen transpire here. Now we can probably just go to the battle up in front, because here
we go.
Eric Satria, the Indonesian, driving for M90 Motorsport. Ethan Lau driving for Red Pack Papega Asia eRacing team in the Mercedes in front. And teammate to Ethan Lau is Elliot Stumenagel right behind here. So, team orders, or are they going to play a straight fight?
I don't know what kind of orders he can give to Ethan, who's currently leading in front, other than, you know, defend hard here. But for Elliot, he's going to have to try to attack Eric Satria here. He needs to keep Eric Satria under pressure in order to allow Ethan Lau to continue in front.
And that's exactly what I was saying about Elliot. He might be the one playing the team order, trying to attack the back of Eric Satria to protect the interest of the team. But at the same time, he might just be willing to go after Ethan if the opportunity arises. For the time being, though, I say that advisedly, because if I was in Elliot's shoes, I know that I'm around behind now. Maybe he's trying to take the points away, but again, they are in constant communication with each other. They wouldn't want to stuff this up, especially when they're in such a good position for the team points as well, because top two in the points in teams and nations contribute to the points of each respective team and nation. This is what they want right now. This will help consolidate the lead here. But for Elliot, he's just watching brief. He doesn't want to get involved in it for the time being, though.
It does It does seem that way. It does seem like he's keeping a bit of distance, or maybe just Eric's pushing Ethan that hard that he has to keep up that pace. Elliot, though, trying to close in on the braking, or maybe not. Still about a whole second away from this battle for first place at the moment. Bugayong, in the meantime, it's already past Chongqing Bin, so that's already one battle already settled here. As right now, young Gavin Bugayong will be continuing bringing the chase to Jeremy Yao. Eric Satra continues to keep up close here with Ethan Lau. Look at that. He's getting the slipstream now, coming up towards the turning. He's going to have to move around the outside. A bit unconventional, but we've seen it happen before. Let's see if he will be able to do it here for M92 Motorsport. Trying to do that textbook fold here on exit. Ethan Lau still has a lot more speed, so no dice this time.
Yep, no dice and no cigar for Eric Satria. But he has been biding his time quite well. And this will play into Elliot Stubenagle's hands too, because if they were to keep on fighting, that will put Elliot in a nice position, and he will love, well, not love it to happen to Ethan, but love for Eric to make a mistake, and he will pick up the pieces here.
Yeah. Still having a look at some of the comments that you guys have been leaving us on Facebook, YouTube. Do keep them still rolling in, guys. We love to see the support that you're able to bring to your favorite teams, your favorite drivers here in the eRGP. And I certainly want to hear shout outs here coming out from M92 Motorsports or Race Pack, Red Pack, aka Red Pack X Pipica Racing team here, because both of their top drivers are right now battling it out here in our first race. We got 2.5 minutes still remaining though. Ooh, Eric Satria looking like he almost lost out on the braking, but still is able to keep some speed. They will still be neck to neck now. 2 minutes remaining, possibly 2 laps to go here in this bronze class first race.
Yep, and it could be a 4-way fight because there is the other M92 drivers. So 2 teams ruling the roost here. M92 for the Indonesians and Red Pack Papega for the Malaysians. So that will be with teammate battles up in front. But unfortunately for Alfico, he's got 2 minutes left to go and 2 seconds to gain up to the back of Stubenagel. So might not be able to do so just yet, but it's quite nice to see that in the bronze class, the team element is really coming to the fore.
Oh, it certainly is. I mean, this is like what, Mercedes versus BMW versus Audi. It's all Deutschland out in here.
Well, 4 in between, yes.
4 in between for sure. Yeah. I mean, Eric Satria, of course, being in the Ford. So there's still American V8 power involved here in this battle with Ethan Lau, and he's certainly going to be using all of those horses here to try to keep him honest in the last remaining minute of our race here. Ethan going a little bit wide this time. Is Eric going to be able to gain the momentum on him? Ethan Lau is really riding on the curbs right now, trying to maximize his line through some of these corners, it seems, or to perhaps keep any openings closed here for Eric Satria to attack. But Eric's just biding his time right now. He knows that the pressure is still on Ethan all throughout. I mean, this is quite rare to see, I have to say though, to see like race leader being pressured so much in like literally the last third of the race. But that's exactly the situation that Ethan Lau is in right now. Elliot Stubenagel is still 0.7 of a second behind the two of them, so it's not going to be able to play too much interference, I fear, unless he is able to catch up massively, which may be contingent upon a move being made by Eric Satria. Look at that, Ethan Lau really going for the defense, and Eric just absolutely trying to grab the inside, cannot find a gap though, will not be able to get through. He will have to try to work it under braking, still remains there, 2 tires on the grass in order to find that position, brakes really hard here, and will be able to overtake. Oh! Contact between the two, unfortunately though, and Elliot Stubenagel moves up around the outside and takes the lead.
And did I say that Stubenagel is waiting for something to happen? There you go, something did happen between Ethan Lau and Eric Satria. Eric comes through to try and take the position back. I think Ethan had to let it go because otherwise a penalty would be coming his way. But Stubenagel will be laughing all the way to the back with that one. And here comes Alfie Koaska to just break the party and break Ethan's heart on this one. It has gone completely pear-shaped.
Oh my goodness, and Ethan is giving that last-minute tap on his rear tire as Alfiko Haska went past. It's just went completely wrong for him, hasn't it? Last lap right now, Elliot Stubenagel is in the final sector. He's going to be cruising away to victory, a victory that he only earned in that final lap here. Look at him, look at him right there.
He's psyched up, you know he's psyched up. That was just not, he didn't have to do anything. He just drove his own pace, didn't have to get involved. And the Devlin was, it's a race win, and it puts him right in the championship fight. Look at that. He's really G'd up right now. He's definitely getting away for race 2. Boom! That is a race win for him. Second place is Eric Satya. Third is Alfiko Aska. And fourth will be a rather disconsolate Ethan Lau, who didn't even stop for that one. He just wants to carry on. He knows full well that the pace was just bleeding away from him. He needed to hold on. Unfortunately for him, he can only get fourth place out of this one. But he can make amends in race number 2 immediately. Jeremy Yao in P6. 7 is one Gavin Bugayong. 8th is Chong Jin Bin. 9th Adam Hakim. And 10th will be Kenny Lim, of all people. Surprisingly, after being involved in the melee in the midfield, he will be starting on pole for HSM in race 2.
Yeah, and Haziq Aslan finishes in 11th place. Lukmanul Hakim in 12th. Hayden Choi in 13th. Ngoyong Jin does get some points, but may not be enough to keep up with the championship as it were right now. He finishes in 14th, and Dave Chen rounds out our top 15 points finishers here for race number 1. Oh boy. I just love that we kind of like build that up, you know, towards the very end, and then literally what I called out literally unfolded as before our very eyes. I mean, I did say, you know, that Elliot will probably only come into action when something happens, like if a move gets made here between Ethan Lau and Eric Satcher, and indeed, literally the next moment was Eric Satcher literally going for it in that last lap there. But Elliot, I mean, to his credit, you know, we did highlight the fact that it looked like he was holding back. I think that might be just so that if something happens between that battle in front, he was already in a position to swoop in and take that lead. And indeed, that was exactly what he did here.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that we also just alluded, you said that, I said along the lines of he'll be waiting for something to happen to his teammate. He didn't want it to happen to Ethan, but he will take it either way if Eric were to just come a cropper, and guess what? That did happen.
See, you guys back home. Sometimes a commentator can cause curses, but sometimes, you know, we can call exactly as it is.
Well, just let's will for that. Let's will for that on that one. But Eric Satya will be kicking himself knowing that the win was on the cards, but.
I mean, it's again. I think it's going to be something that will certainly be reviewed by the stewards afterwards. There's no way he's going to be letting that slide there. He will at least ask, you know, for a review there. But it will still look like a contact from behind here from Ethan Lau. Couldn't quite tell exactly what angle because of the camera position, as it were. But if Eric Satcher had already completed a move and Ethan hit him afterwards, that could be a grounds there for some penalties. So still going to be remaining up in the air, I think. It's still going to be in the hands of the stewards, no doubt, because certainly Eric will be well within his rights to ask for a review of that incident.
I think, in my opinion, because the way that Ethan was defending already, he was on the hard shoulder, but somehow Eric found the room on the inside and went for it. He got it stopped in time, but he left a bit of room just on the inside for Ethan to come by, and the contact was almost inevitable afterwards. But it was hard, fair racing. I don't want to throw the book to anybody there. It's just that the outcome of the incident was the fact that Eric was facing into the grass, and Ethan was the one that actually tapped the back of him. So it's an incident that was bound to happen, but not in the way that we were anticipating. Because, again, just inches between each other. It's all it takes for something to happen.
But again, you know, it all relies upon, you know, having the what we would refer to as an onboard video, rather the replays, you know, that the players will be able to provide after this race here. So really, only then will we have very clear information of exactly what went down in that move. But as it stands, though, you know, Ethan Lau definitely suffered a lot worse comparatively there, because he missed out on a lot more points. He got passed by, you know, Alfiko Aska as well, you know, in that process. So if anything, like even if Eric Satria even if that does go to protest and there is still going to be penalty points, Ethan Lau still loses out on a lot of points here that could be crucial for this championship. Now, as we are waxing lyrical, we are going to be getting ourselves set up now for race number 2. The lights are getting warmed up on the gantry. We've got the reverse grid being applied, so that's Kenny Lim starting out in the very tippy top front. Red lights are on, and we are off now for race number 2 of the bronze class in round 3. Kenny Lim still going to be relatively side by side with Hakim, but will be able to close the door by the time we get into the exit. makes it a bit of a tight situation, but some drivers behind. Contact as well as one of the cars gets spun around and clatters into a bunch of others as they try to rejoin the track here. I do see that Bugayong and Jeremy Yao are able to come to and escape. Ethan Lau moves up into 6th place, so he's attempting right now to make up some disappointment. He's still locked in the battle here with Asgard though, so he's still attempting to try to get a rematch here between himself and some of his competitors, but not able to get past Jeremy Yao that time. He is left out on the lurch and drops down to 9th.
All things considered, I think it was a much cleaner start compared to race number 1. No such dramatic histrionics from the guys behind, but it looks as though the battles between the same guys up in front. No, Asuka!
Oh,
Asuka and Satya! So the two teammates have whacked at each other this time, and the M92 guys are being swarmed over by the Red Pepega guys.
Yeah, Nathan is using this opportunity to hug the inside and try to get past both the M92 cars, but looks like, oh, another piece of contact there between Eric and Ethan, and Eric is forcing him out wide, forcing Ethan to drop down. Now he's getting passed as well by Ngo Yong-jin, his teammate. Is Ngo Yong-jin going to be able to help him out in this situation? A bit of a slide going on in the background there as we still focus on some of the fights happening up in front. I do see, I think that Shamin who's got spun around, and yep, that's Shamin who's now in the gravel trap there.
And here's the other Low, Alan Low, right at the back. No relation to Ethan, at least I'm not mistaken because his father's name is Herbert, but either way, that is one of the lows, and another low point here for Zarivadam. He's right at the back.
Fun there, Ammo. Zarivadam, yeah, not having a great run so far in race number 2. Let's see if he's going to be able to pick up the pieces here as we are still quite a long way towards the end of this. We're still seeing Adam Hakim right now leading this race ahead of Arman Abdullah. Right now they're separated by 1 whole second. You got Bugayong actually having overtaken Kenny Lim. So even though Kenny had started in pole position on race number 2, he's actually lost 4 places in a row right now and is struggling even to try to keep up with the podium holder, as it were, and it's now hot on his heels here. In fact, it's Elliot Stewart Eagle.
Now Elliot, we did say, needs to kick up the back here to just try and get the necessary points to keep inside the battle for championship battle, because remember, he has taken a round out of the equation for missing round 2. Now with that win under his belt, he will no doubt be trying to just wrestle this round by the horns and get it to the final round in contention.
I suspect something might just happen to Ngo Yong-jin and Eric Satya, because both of them has dropped down now to 10th and 11th respectively, whereas Asuka and Ethan Lau still remain at 7 and 8. Not exactly sure what happened off camera, but it seems like Eric Satya has suffered the worst of it right now, stuck behind Ngo Yong-jin, while his championship rival, as it were, Ethan Lau, is continuing to pull ahead.
Yep, and Yong-jin is P10, so at least he gets 1 point. Eric Satya, who was involved in that ding-dong battle towards the end of race number 1, is just outside of it, waiting for something to happen in the top 10 to get into it. As further behind there, more and more battles all the way. Look at it. There's Hayden Choi. Hayden tries to look around the outside of Zach Wong, while Hakimi, watching briefly, the other Pepega guy without a livery, is right in the thick of it too.
Yeah, very much in the thick of it. Oh boy, 2 wide right now in this situation. He's actually going 3 wide with Muhammad Hakim trying to take on to the outside of this left-hand sweeper here. Look at that from the top-down view. It's very tight margins here, and you got a BWT AMG just sandwiched between the 2 of them. Has to back out a little bit here. Oh, will he back out? No, he would. It will be a crash between the 2 and a whole collection of cars clattering each other here on the hairpin.
Was that expected? Yes. Oh no!
No, not again!
That was unexpected. An oncoming Hayden Choi causes that one and sends them further behind with a terrible moment of action.
Oh man, that's just gotta be heartbreaking here for Hayden Choi. At one point running close to the points and now completely left out on the lurch. In the meantime, someone's not struggling with that at all. It's actually Jeremy Yao. He's actually passed Alfiko Asuka just off camera and is now keeping the pressure onto Kenny Lim and giving a bit of education here to Alfiko. Alfiko actually put a bit of a lesson here onto Jeremy Yao. Seemed like they almost came together that time around. Ethan Lau in the meantime trying to chase behind Alfiko Asuka. It's very much a huge possession of drivers here. Very talented ones indeed. They're clattering for a position. Ethan Lau tries to dive on the inside, but Alfiko says nope. Pulls up ahead and still stays in position.
Accordion effect or concertina effect when more and more drivers get closer to each other. It just stalls momentum. Jin Bin is out of the race. Chong Jin Bin, we have seen on our screen. Unfortunately, after such a strong race number 1, has been knocked into oblivion, and he will not take any further part in here. But going back to that point, an accordion effect, Alfico tried to overtake Jeremy Yao. Jeremy Yao blocked him, and he actually had to back off. Then Alfico was trying to be overtaken by Ethan. He slowed, and he also forced Ethan to back off. So it's just that kind of thing, isn't it? The accordion effect.
Yeah, the concertina effect, named after the dance move, actually, mind you, a very, very old school kind of dance move, I should say. Not something that you would see out on the streets. Definitely something you see in the opera theater and in the theater of racing here, as it were. Azik Hasla, in the meantime, look at the amount of pressure he's putting right now into Eric Satya, trying to cut him around the inside, but Eric is still able to close the door right on the first apex. Will he be able to do it on the second as well? Yep, he carries a lot more speed, and he will be able to stay ahead. Goyong Jin also spying in on this battle here. Might be eyeing an opportunity to take on Azik Hasla now that Eric Satya has already dispatched him.
Yeah, but more and more drivers are out of it. Sharu Amri, who's part of the HSM team, he's also out. So we got more casualties in race number 2 as opposed to get with race number 1. Unfortunately, we don't have Razi Aziz on board, who unfortunately lost a relative just in the lead up to this race. So condolences to him. He was the one with that door open with the Ferrari in Fuji. So yeah, we got a laugh out of that, but we are not laughing for him for this one. It definitely is a painful moment, and hopefully he gets to take care of business anyway.
In the case, like, he will share basically like a similar moment with one of the Aston Martin Valkyries just recently, also having his door open during a race
in WEC. Yeah,
in WEC.
Yep. So that was unfortunate.
Unfortunate, but you know, things like that do happen. Jeremy Yao, though, getting himself past Kenny Lim just off camera here, while Goyong Jen is now trying to put the move onto Hazik Aslan. Tries around the outside here. Looks like he may try. I thought he was going to be able to make it stick, but no, Hazik Aslan is still a lot stronger on the inside. Is still able to eke out just a little bit more speed on the exit.
Yep, and we'll go back now to that battle between Kenny Lim and Jeremy Yao.
Yep.
As though Jeremy has gotten the move stick. It might have been a side-by-side moment. Yeah, we can see what he says there. I don't think Kenny will be reading and driving on this one because he wants to get that signage out of the way.
I think if I was in Kenny's shoes, I'll just have to I will just have to fight so hard to resist the temptation to just clatter the back of Jeremy Yao for for just that little bit mean. But you know, it's all good fun. It's always a very fun thing to see.
Yeah. But when you're driving, it's not in good fight. You know you're focusing on other things.
For sure. In any case, Alfico Asuka is also not quite out of it, though. Still keeping up quite nicely with both Kenny Lim and Jeremy Yao here. So perhaps if Kenny Lim is still not able to keep up some good pace, which, you know, I was actually looking at some of his times. It's actually not that bad, but it's still just marginally slower than most of the other guys just around him. So despite that fact, what has happened here to Goyong Jin? It looked like he went,
He overtook Hazik Aslan, but then he outbraked himself coming to the final corner, and that's what allowed Hazik to get back at him.
Yeah, it looks like that is the case. So that is actually, unfortunately, put that little battle on ice for now, as Goyong Jin's gonna have to rebuild back up to close up that gap once more. Kenny Lim doesn't seem like he'll be closing that gap to Jeremy Yao anytime soon, at least under on the straight just now. And Jeremy Yao is actually now catching up to where Elliot Stuernagel is. So is he going to be able to find even more position and maybe even try to make a challenge for the podium here, Amo?
We'll wait and see, because Bugayong has proven to be quite a tough cookie to race with anyway. So let's see what Elliot has in mind, as Alfico as well is trying to battle his way up to the front like he did in the first race. We'll see how that goes as more and more comments are coming in, especially for Bugayong. We saw from, what's that? Hubert Umali. Yep. Umal. He's showing support for Bugayong there. But Bugayong right now is under severe pressure from Elliot Stuernagel, and there's Asuka also putting the pressure on Kenny Lim. So the Indonesian is also feeling a bit racy here.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny Lim has dropped so far down. I mean, mind you, he started on the front row, literally in pole for race number 2, but has dropped down significantly since then. And now in the final third, is just in danger of losing his position now, dropping down to 7th here. It is Stuernagel has been keeping the pressure going onto Jan Gavin Bugayong. He's hoping to find another opportunity here to get up on the podium once more. And this would be an incredible back-to-back return performances here for Elliot, no less.
Yep, a win in race number 1 under very fortuitous circumstances. He would love to actually win it here on merit in race number 2. Here he comes on the inside. Bugayong didn't put up much of a fight, but Bugayong breaks very deep. Elliot Stunegal goes even deeper. He gets it into P3.
Yeah, it just closes, it puts his car just right in front of Yuan, preventing him from being able to find the advantage on the exit, which is exactly what you need to do whenever you pull off moves like this. Well done there to Elliot Stunegal. Ngoyong Jen finally has caught up again to Haziq Aslan, so it's going to be, what is this, round number 3, as Charlie Manuel Ramos finds himself the wrong way around, manages to get himself back on the right way just in the nick of time.
Oh, Askar's actually gotten through. Alfico Askar has actually gotten through Kenny Lim.
Yeah, he's already gotten his way through. So again, I think the curse is starting to strike Kenny, where even though he is able to get himself, rather he was starting in the earlier part of the grid, but his average pace, especially towards the end, is starting to, it's really struggling at this point right now, and that is putting him within the clutches of Ethan Lau. So maybe Ethan might be thinking about perhaps an opportunity has presented itself for him here.
Well, he's trying to make amends for what happened towards the end of race number 1. Sure, it was still a podium, but not in the way that he would have loved to do so after, fourth place, after what was a strong opening to the race. Then he just tailed off at the end. This one may be his drop round, so he'll just chuck into the bin. Yeah, well, hopefully he doesn't chuck it too far though, because he's still within a points paying position and perhaps may be able to mitigate some damage here, no doubt. But yeah, still remains to be seen. 3.5 minutes remain here as Adam Hakim continues to lead ahead of Arman Abdullah. Both of these drivers had not come close until just about now. Half a second now between our two front runners here. Are we going to be able to see some battles towards the end of the last lap like we did with race number 1? And you know who's there to pick up the pieces if that were to happen?
Again, it's good old Elliot.
And well, if he was a gambling guy, and he's not, by the way, he's pretty much still a minor.
Not old enough to gamble yet, for sure.
He will probably be high rolling in Vegas after this if his luck actually struck gold twice. He probably carries a 4-leaf clover, rabbit's foot somewhere in the house that actually got him that good luck the first time, and he'll be banking on it to happen the second time. It's not out of random possibility, by the way. It's still about 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. And again, Arman Abdullah and Adam Hakim up in front, maybe just be sweating a bit, knowing the fact that a fast-charging Pepega Red Pack guy is coming right behind him.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a lot of pressure on the two of them, even though they're running the same car technically as Elliot Stewart. Oh, bit of a touch and go there. It's Ethan Lau trying to find a way through, but Kenny Lim is not letting any space on the inside there. Ethan's going to have to do this the hard way, coming onto the main straight, not able to get alongside Kenny Lim. Still will have to rely on a bit of slipstream here. Maybe even a side drafted here might be needed, but Ethan Lau hangs around the outside. He's going to try to do it by racing line here, keeping the pressure on the Kenny Lim. Looking like Kenny's getting a little bit shaken a bit at the exit there. Ethan's able to get alongside now this time around from the outside here. Again, another daring position to be in here for Ethan Lau, but we've seen crazier things before. Kenny Lim under braking, still able to stay alongside, still stays on the racing line. Ethan Lau still not able to find the speed to get past him on the exit, and you got Eric Satria now joining in here on the slipstream, and it's looking like it's now turned into a 3-way.
And Eric Sacha, it's probably just deja vu, isn't it? We saw this happen before in race number 1. He was behind Ethan. And look at what happened. He goes on the inside, sweeps around both of them, and takes the position away. What a brave move. 2 for 1. When Ethan was trying to overtake, Ethan ended up losing a position.
2 for 1 deal. What a steal here from Eric Satria. Just like that, has already gained one, not only on his championship rival, but also on another competitor here to gain a lot more points, and this is certainly going to help him all the way into the final round of the championship, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. You just don't put an M92 car behind Ethan. Something happens, and there it happened for a second straight race. Now then, you can see the puff of the cheeks. Elliot was really banking on something happening between Adam Hakim and Arman Abdullah. Remember, Adam Hakim is his teammate in the same stable, the Red Pack Pepega team. Now it's going to be all gloves off because we're into the final lap here, Vic.
Yeah, Arman Abdullah is the only one standing in his way right now, and he's already getting so tantalizingly close. 30, or less than 30 seconds remaining on the timer right now, so Elliot knows this is going to be the moment to strike. Wise, he's going to have to hold his peace here, but looking like he's going to be losing it out on the braking though, but will be able to gain it on the exit. Not quite. That's a very defensive position there. Arman Abdullah is able to pull off, so he still remains in Elliot's way. Elliot now having to go around the outside with his left-hand sweeper. Very risky proposition again, but Arman Abdullah, he's definitely in a good position here to continue to defend his right to stay in that second place. Side by side right now, forcing Elliot outside. Elliot touches, has contact there with Arman Abdullah. Still remains in racing though. Again, another time around, it still remains side by side as he comes through this next series of turns. It's still more contact to go as Elliot struggles and still remains frustrated behind Arman Abdullah.
As you can see, Johan Kevin Bugayong's coming right at him as well, trying to break the Mercedes Armada up in front. And Arman, to his credit, that was actually some clean driving, nothing too dirty about it. He defends hard. You can see Elliot just puffing his cheeks, trying to hold his breath to get around. We're watching this battle for second, third, and fourth because it is that close between Stuenhagel and Abdullah as they come in the final corner for the last time. Around the outside goes Stuenhagel, Abdullah on the inside, and Abdullah hangs on to it as Adam Hakim comes across the line and takes his first ever win in Global Edition. What a battle on the way to the line. Second place is Abdullah, third is Stuenhagel, Bugayong fourth, fifth Aska, 6 is Jeremy Yao. Another double points make position for him. 7 is Satria. 8th Kenny Lim. 9th Ethan Lowe. And 10th for the final point. Just across the line as well. In front of Youngjan by 300ths of a second. Will be Hazi Aslan.
30 milliseconds actually between the two of them. Wow, that's such a close finish actually. Incredible racing we're seeing right now on the Chang International Circuit. It's certainly delivered right now in round number 3. Oh boy, I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in our last race on the night here, because if the copper and the bronze are any indication right now, I think you're going to be seeing just as close racing there. Indeed. For sure.
Yep, and we have to remember the fact that this will be the fastest race of the night.
Yeah.
These hypercars will definitely fly around the circuit. But for now, we will say goodbye to the bronze guys. We'll see them back in a couple of weeks' time. We will be going to the Creme de la Creme as another bad hair day, unfortunately, because the racing has been so good that you shake a lot when you talk. But
I know, right?
Yes. We will say goodbye to these guys for now, and we will come back later on, just a couple of minutes' time, to join the Silver and Gold guys. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the show word from our sponsors.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Hello, welcome back to the eRacing GP. We've got Elliot Stewart-Nagel in the house with us here today. Elliot, first off, congratulations on taking that win in race number 1 here for the bronze class. Could you describe a little bit of what you were going through during that final lap? Because that was a crazy thing that happened there, isn't it? Oh, sorry. We can't hear. I think your mic is off. No. No.
No need to liberate on that, we can see.
Oh, hello. Heard a little bit there. I think it's still not on completely.
Hello?
Yes, now we hear you there. Elliot. Okay. Yeah, so
Let me
again.
answer your question.
Yeah.
Basically, I was just sitting back because I knew that they were going to have like a last lap duel. I've seen this on YouTube millions of times. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to wait. All right, last lap, I'm going to try and close up. A couple times in the third sector, I had like a generational run where I gained like 4/10. So I was like, okay, great. I'm right behind these guys. And then I would fall back in the first sector. So on the last lap, I was just like, what is happening here? And I don't even know what happened. I just like, there was a flash and then I was in first place. And I was like, okay, I have to somehow win this. And then I did. So that was fun.
That's incredible, man. I mean, again, it just felt like, especially when we saw the kind of similar kind of situation kind of unfold for race number 2 as well. You were in a very tight one against Alfiski Aska towards the very end. Do you think that lightning was going to strike twice by that point?
Yeah, I mean, I'd seen it before. I've had many incidents and I didn't want that one to do it again. So I was kind of just like trying to make sure I didn't bin it into the wall, which is usually like my goal. So I was just trying to keep it on the track, and yeah, that was a fun battle. So
that was certainly a lot of fun here indeed, Elliot. So in case, like, yeah, we did make a note actually during the broadcast that you missed out on round number 2 here, but now that you've already come back in this, and I must say, come back in full force in round number 3, going into round number 4, like, what's going to be your expectations coming into the end of the season here? You still going to, are you still feeling that it's going to be a lot more tighter battles ahead of you, or do you feel that you have this in the bag?
I can't drive next round.
Oh no!
I'm in Taipei, so my parents told me if I won this round, they'd maybe move our flight a day earlier. So I might be there. I don't know yet. I'll be on very little practice as always. I spend like an hour practicing and then I just jump in. So maybe, I don't know. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see indeed. But last but not least, Elliot, I'll give the floor to you. Anyone you'd like to shout out, or anyone you'd like to thank, or anything you'd like to say to our viewers here?
LeBron James. I want to thank LeBron James, my parents, the rest of my family for supporting my sim racing journey. But mostly LeBron James for motivating me to be a better sim racer every day.
Well, thank you so much, Elliot. Congratulations yet again here for your performance on round number 3. Hopefully we'll be able to see you in round number 4. So with you guys at home, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Thank you so much, Elliot.
Thanks, guys.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. But for real, that was really what I was thinking, is what he was saying as well. He was buying his time. He was waiting for something to happen. And it did. Because that was exactly what he said afterwards. He just wanted the leaders to just get into collision. Even if it is his teammate, he could just pick up the pieces. And boy, oh boy, it paid off in spades. Now, They might have to check it. The knock-on effect of that is it might affect the family plans.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's going to be up to Elliot and his family to figure it out there. But hopefully we'll be able to see him for the final round, because certainly it's brought us a lot of entertainment here in the 2 rounds that he's only been in this championship here. So incredible stuff. So up next, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our final race of the night here. It's been very much a long one coming here. Again, we had to start a little bit later than normal because of the fasting month happening right now. So therefore, this is definitely going to be running all the way to the very end here. So that's going to be gold and silver class I'm talking about that we're going to be having up next here. So let's have a look at a recap of where we stand right now. Chester Lam is the leader right now in the gold class, 78 points. Keith Mo's 54 points here. So it's certainly a very, very big lead, and one that Chester pretty much secured from that second round onwards. A brilliant and dominating performance in that Format B race, isn't it, Amo?
Indeed, and the fact that he was almost impervious that day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was. Here's a fun thing to note. All 4 winners in all 4 classes in that previous round had a clean sweep. They all had pole, they all had the race win, and the fastest lap to boot. So literally, it was just an easy dub for everybody in terms of point day, that one. So Chester was one of those drivers, and that's why he's well ahead. Well, by 16 points at least. But let's see what's going to happen in this round. It might be a sting or 2 in the tail. Keith Moore might be there to pick up the pieces, and probably a dent in his dad's wallet if he gets a PS5 in the end.
Yeah.
if he wins the championship, of course. Then Azza in 3rd place, the surprise revelation in the gold class, because previously he was fast in Endurance Edition, but he really turned out the week in Global Edition as well.
Yep, well, that's going to be something to look forward to for sure. And now, we have a look at the silver class here. I do believe it's still Alonso Marcus Lacambra who is in the lead. And yes, it is 81 points, so that's 11 points ahead of Brunei's Iman Ryan here. Chester Elog only behind in 66, so very close actually, a lot closer than it is for the gold class for sure. So I think this championship certainly will be a lot more hard fought here compared to what's going on in the gold class, I'm thinking.
Yeah, for sure. And given the fact that it is a multi-class race, there might be an opportunity for the leaders in the gold class to just spring a surprise in the silver class when they try to lap them as well. So it might cause a ding-dong battle or 2, just like what we saw in Sokol. So let's see how that happens then. But for now, Lakamba, Ryan, Elog, and even UN to a certain extent probably has a chance, but it's just mathematically, so it's top 3 at this point. And of course, to our surprise, we had a Chester in here as well. So let's hope that the race engineer to Lakambra doesn't get confused with that other Chester again.
Well, the thing is that they're racing 2 totally different machines, so I think it should be easy enough to try to pick up between the 2. But in any case, we're now down into qualifying here. It's a 10-minute qualifying session with 7 minutes remaining right now. It looks like Felix Young is the one that's currently in the lead here in the Ferrari. We still have yet to see if Chester Lam is going to be setting a time on the board here. I think he's still just out his outlap right now. So
oh, there you go.
Oh no, there you go. So already putting himself up on top there, 121.376. Fastest time we've seen so far here from Chester Lam. And Haywood Sui is currently sitting in that 2nd spot there. Muhammad Azhar currently sitting in 3rd using the Porsche. That's allowing him to at least be within touching distance, but still not under 122. He's still 0.2 of a second off of that right now. In the meantime, the rest of the drivers are still trying to post in their time. So far, I think I only see a handful of drivers really breaking under 124 here. We got Galadi Haki as well as Akim Abbas right now who are in that position. We still have yet more times to be seen here from our silver class drivers, of which Alonso Lacambra has already set the fastest so far at a 126.689. A really good time here for our championship leader, and also sporting yet another Itasha livery here to the delight of our viewers on YouTube.
Yes, and they were asking for it earlier about the liveries. Well, there you go. That's the most famous of the lot, the Hatsune Miku livery. And coincidentally,
Hatsune Miku in the back as well.
Yep. So Lacabra's got his wheat face on for today. But coincidentally today as well, it's also March 7th. And March 7 is the name of one of the characters from Honkai Star Rail. Unfortunately, no Itasha livery that one. So we get Hatsune Miku at least.
No wonder I see Honkai just literally stuck on trending right now, all over my feed. So, yeah, happy birthday there for sure. As we are also looking in to see if anyone else is going to be able to challenge the Hong Kong powerhouse right now in the form of Chester Lam. Kelvin Pao Kek Shung right now is currently sitting, also having a nice Itasha livery
Mark
there.
7. There you go.
There we go.
Mark 7 on that car as well. So Calvin Power gets a shout out for delivery on that one. He's on point. He knows what day it is, and he gets the best livery of the lot as well in terms of color right there.
Yeah. So 4 minutes and 45 seconds remaining here in qualifying. Chester Lam is still out of track, still trying to improve on his time. 121.376. Nope, he's going to teleport back into pits right now, so it's going to be up to Haywood Sui to continue the charge here.
And Evo, aka Nick, who is Lacambra's mechanic or race engineer, he's in the server now, or rather in the chat to talk to us. And good evening to you as well. Hopefully you've been enjoying the action so far that we had. Now you have to watch over Alonso's race here. Though he's second right now behind Iman Ryan. He comes across the line. He's just about a 2/10 behind, just relatively 2/10 behind. Keith Moore gets on the pole position.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Keith Moore now beating Chester Lam by a country mile, breaking under the 121s now. 899. Incredible time here for the little guy.
Yep. And once again, looks like he's racing in his kitchen. It doesn't look like a bedroom, but whatever it is, he will be... Oh, look at how much lead he has there. He's really turning into the corner with his entire body, just like how a Carter would. But either way, provisional pole for him, and he will be still pounding around the entire circuit to improve. Meanwhile, Iman Ryan, and this is actually quite a nice livery as well. For those who are not in the know, that is the Subaru Impreza livery back in the day. Think of Colin McRae, Richard Burns, and Peter Solberg in one go.
Yeah, wow, that's a great tribute there indeed. And it looked almost like the 555, but just incredibly stylized there. So
Censored one, yes.
Yeah, just very much to stay free of any trademarks or any kind of copyright issues for sure here. But great livery there from Iman Ryan. A throwback to the past, as it were, in these very, very modern LMP2 cars.
And I wish Subaru comes back to rallying. I'm not gonna lie. Either way, back to Keith Moore. Can he improve on his time to 20.899? Nope, still stays on the same time, but still a provisional pole, and he's still on it again for one more run. We see a car coming out of pit lane. That's Michael Vincent Velasquez in the LOR Ascent car. He is part of that. If you saw LOR's post recently, and the team roster for sim racing this year, and a couple of carters as well, female carters might we had in the real world. So LOR got a busy schedule in front of them, and would they love to have another champion to add to their roster with Velasquez in that mix?
Oh yeah, I would love to see like more female competitors actually to rise up in the ranks here, because it certainly adds a lot more intrigue as well as variety actually to the talent pool of drivers we have all throughout Southeast Asia. And it's great to see that LOR has been very much at the forefront of pushing that direction. And then in the case, let's see who else on the who is carrying the Filipino flag will be able to join the top 10 here. We also have we have Lacambra, of course, being in that silver, and he has improved his time significantly now. 125.641 now for him. And that's certainly going to put a lot of pressure here on Iman Ryan, who is only a 1/10 of a second, actually less than a 1/10 of a second behind there. So very competitive qualifying here, even in silver class.
Indeed, and you can see Nick now going crazy for the support here. So he will definitely be willing Alonso on to take yet another victory and a step closer to getting a trophy on his own at the end of the season. But for now, the job is to try and fend off Iman Ryan when we come into the race. We have 12 hypercars here, so the gold drivers will not have to worry about LMP2s on pole when we flip the script after this, as the FUN comes through to overtake him here. So Iman Ryan ready to wind it up for one last run, but unfortunately, look who's right behind. It's Calvin Pao.
Yeah.
So Calvin Pao now is going to be there. And look, Lacambra goes off into the pit lane. I thought for a second he actually went off the track, but I think he called time on his qualifying. Though Iman Ryan is still out on track, ready to change the time. Calvin Pao stops. That's the end of his qualifying. Top 2 in the overall standings. Keith Mo and Muhammad Azza have also ended it. So Chester Lam now will have an opportunity to fix his time. And where's he at right now, Vic? He's
Can't
off.
quite see, and I think he's off already. Like at the moment, he is currently.
Oh!
Oh no, that's not how exactly you want to do it there. Actually cutting in front of Felix Young, his own teammate.
Well, no, countryman.
Actually, fellow countryman, actually, I should say. But that's not a good look there for sure. So Felix is also in the running there. It's in fact going to be starting alongside Chester Lam later on in the race. So, oh boy, that could be spicy later on during the start.
That could get a little bit personal after this, as Chester Elong now just finally joins us for the session. Velasquez comes through to set a time. He goes second!
Oh!
Wow! There we go. I did say earlier about Velasquez might spring a surprise. Well, there we go. Second place right now, and only 3/10 behind Keith Mo. But Keith Mo, what a time! 20.8, clear and away, the fastest driver in the field, and takes 5 points for himself here, coming into the pair of races. He will be really happy that way. And look, he's biting. Well, I'm not sure why he's biting his glove for. Probably is just to distract the fact that it takes a while to take over to the next session. But yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll just let him do whatever he needs to do right now to get ready for the race. But wow, what an incredible last-minute charge there from Michael Vincent Velasquez. Like, it's great to see that he's back up in form yet again, and at least in the midst of this championship battle here, is able to put in a really good effort here. Although he is very far off when it comes to the actual points tally, but again, we still have one more round after this, so it still remains to be seen. Perhaps if he can transform this into a race win or even an incredible finish here, that would certainly put him back on the charge.
And don't forget that he was in the beer a couple of years back when he was banned from a couple of leagues, but he's bounced back then and proven his innocence to really turn up the wick here. Can he take pole position? No, he can't. No, not this time, however. And he has been really the revelation in the LOR team. That's why they signed him up. He has proven to be fast and really go to take on the finest in the Asian region and then some. But for now, second place is the best he could do for this qualifying session. First place is Keith Mo, and he will have the entire field of cars right behind him to worry about to turn number 1. Second place is Velasquez. Third is Azza. Fourth is Chester Lam. And, well, that is actually one of the idols, Japanese idols. I forgot her name, unfortunately. That will be celebrating her birthday on the 6th. That was yesterday, but never too late to celebrate. And fifth is Felix Young, and they did hit each other just now towards the end of qualifying. LMP2, or the silver class, Alonso Marcos Lacambra with the Hatsune Miku livery will be lining up on pole position in class to 13th overall. Behind him will be Iman Ryan in the Subaru Impreza livery. Nice one. Nice touch, by the way. Descalzo in his Swift Sim Racing livery in 3rd. 4th will be Zef Yuen, also running in fact, he's running the Prema livery in this one. 5th is Aziz Shamli Mokhtar. And unfortunately, the Papega guys in silver have been a little bit anonymous this season. We have seen quite a few instances of them being on camera, but sometimes when incidents happen, and for Azib Shami, he was actually going off completely off the rails in the previous round because it wasn't his fault. He tried to avoid an accident at the start, but the game disqualified him because the track limits detected him as being on the previous lap, and so when he crossed the line, he was disqualified immediately. So it was unfortunate for Azib, but things like that happen when you least expect it.
Yeah, very unfortunate one, and also because the so-called circuit is very strict when it came to track limits, particularly that it was really on the white line rather than the runoff area. So a very unfortunate situation there for Azit Mokhtar. Hopefully he'll be able to make up for this coming into this 3rd round here. So we got Keith Mo in the front row alongside Michael Vincent Velasquez, Muhammad Absav together with Chester Lam going to be on the 2nd row, Felix Young and Haywood Sui behind. So still a very Hong Kong heavy presence right now in that top 5 for sure. Kanzai Ramdami behind, as well as Galani Haki. Adam Harif makes it up into 9, and Akim Abbas rounds up the top 10 right now. 10 seconds to go before we get started with our gold silver class race number 1 here in round 3. Lights on the gantries are going on now, and we will be off for the races here. Let's see if Keith Moore is going to be able to get a good start. Not quite. It's still going to be alongside with Michael Vincent Velasquez, but it might turn out into a 3, maybe 4 wide situation. As right now Keith is able to slip past. Oh no, does he not? Michael Vincent loses control a little bit, a bit of contact in the back as well. Some cars are clattering against each other. Some has lit out, some has gone completely off here. Chester Lam, he is going to be in the lead right now, still fighting alongside Felix Young. It's going to be a rematch right now from the incident from qualifying, and clattering going on in the background there. I think Glenny Hockey got involved in a scrap there right at the back, and it's dropped all the way down, and in fact he's all the way out of this here, down into 25, still out on the grass, only now able to recover.
Wow, there was an absolute crash fest at the start, and it's still going on. Here's Sharif Darani. Well, he's actually between the two Pepega guys. Last time it was an all-orange car, now it's an all-blue car, so at least he's got color this time. What a minute this. Massive chaos at the start, and it was still ongoing.
Yeah, it's still ongoing. Still a lot of battles to go here. Kazan Ramdani right against the back of Cameron James from Handshake Sim Racing. Now Cameron is going to have to defend hard here. And remember, D-Car's a lot faster than what we saw from the bronze and the copper class. So you're going to be seeing the laps whiz by so quickly in this race series here. Kazan Ramdani is no slouch when it comes to the attack department here either. So Cameron James is going to have his hands full right now, trying to keep the nation behind. But Kazan Ramdani comes running outside, gets into the contact, forced to go out wide here, and Rejoy still alongside Cameron James.
And again, he's still going to fight for it here because Ramdani will feel a bit incensed by the fact that he got pushed out wide on the exit. Now he's going to have an opportunity. This is one of the favorite overtaking spots. Turn number 3. We saw how it transpired between Ethan Lau and Eric Satra previously. Let's see what Ramdani has. He's on the inside, on the hard shoulder. Switches on the outside. We're going to go to the heli view. Let's see if we can actually get it. A drive around the outside. No, he couldn't.
That was good blocking there by Cameron James. In the meantime, things are starting to settle down a little bit. Alonso Marcus Lacambra, I think it was within touching distance of Haywood Sway just a moment ago. Now it's actually started to widen up as we hit the main straight, the power differential. Oh, Kazan Ramdani went completely wide there, struggling with the steering wheel, trying to keep the car back in. Looks like this battle here with Cameron James starting to get, starting to eke in a bit of frustration on Alonso's side.
Indeed, and well, not Alonso, for Cameron and for Ramdani side. Yeah, Ramdani, well, he was involved in the wars in the first round with Naki Baslan of all people, with him ramming into the back of him twice. So that first initials in his name does ring true now, though, isn't it? Ramdani.
Damn.
Anyway,
Damn.
Anyway, we're gonna go now to Alonso Marcus Lacambra. He's leading the way in silver. Definitely be having his change in it. Oh no, look at that big slide. He did say just now, watch your tires.
Yeah.
He wasn't thinking about it there for a second. He was thinking about eking ahead of Iman Ryan. Iman is now having another Filipino for good measure right behind him. The Swift Sim Racing team driver of Alberto Miguel Descalzo right behind. Well, really nice that they bought a livery, but though I think he based it off the United Autosports livery, but it looks a bit...
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it looks a bit like United Autosports, so probably a bit of that, but nice to see that more liveries are being involved here. Oh, this Descalzo goes a bit wide. That might allow ZFUN in the Prema colors to come through here. Nice touch for everybody that they decided to put liveries. Either way, that's the state of play for the guys for the behind. Now, back up to the upper midfield. This is in the middle of the top 10. I'm Akim Abbas, who was supposed to have a livery because we saw him uploading it, but unfortunately, it didn't load in time. He was supposed to be running a HoloLive livery from Fuamoko. So it didn't upload this time, so he'll be running the default Jota livery. He's got another default driver behind him. Then guess what? It's Cameron James and Kanzani Ramdani who were actually involved earlier. Now they're up to the back of both of them.
Well, how the turntables, doesn't it? Well, Cameron James is going to try to catch up to Ayman Akeem, a fellow countryman, a fellow statesman, apparently. As both of them are now locked into this battle here. It's going to become a bit of a four-way, I do believe, because Ramdani is not too far behind Cameron James as well. So you could get a bit argy-bargy here, and we're still only in the early stages here, which is why Alonso's coach, Evo, was very much crying distress about the tires. The tires, stop fighting so hard in the early phase here because you're going to lose your tires by the very end of this, guys.
Indeed, and Ramdani will probably not be thinking about that. He was involved in the wars already.
Yep.
He is really getting a bit antsy there behind Cameron James, and for good measure because Haywood Sui is just right behind him too.
Very closely behind him too, yeah, in that fact. So it's still very, I mean, for the top 6 of this competition right now, it's very much settled into that usual rhythm and pace. Oh, Cameron James looking a little bit out of shape there. I think Kanzani Ramdani might have found an opportunity here to keep the pressure, but I think the Constantina made it caused him to slow down a little bit, and now he's got Haywood Sui fighting around him, around the outside, not able to cut through. Kanzani Ramdani now fighting to keep his track position here from Haywood Sui, and so far has been successful, but he is not quite out of the woods yet.
Yeah, Ferrari versus Ferrari, so similar cars. It's up to the skill of the driver to make a difference here. You can see just now, Ramdani just cut through the corner a bit too hard. Oh, there goes on the inside. Haywood tries to come through there, and the car almost bounced on the curve for a second. As you can see, Haywood Sui dies on the inside. Ramdani thinks of it as well to block the move, and he has done so successfully.
Yep, still great defense here. Perhaps he is going to be secondary defense, or maybe not, because Haywood Sui almost found a position. No, Kanzani still stays ahead of him going into this next hairpin. Meantime, Ayman Hakim trying to fight around the outside here of the hairpin onto Ahmad Jusmin. Not able to find his way through from the Peugeot. It looks like Cameron James is able to catch up and still stays ahead of Kanzani Ramdani, who has a bit more problems going on behind him as he's struggling so hard to keep Haywood Sui behind. Ayman switching from inside to the outside, not able to find a way past Ahmad Jusmin yet. The next turn might just be it here, though, as Ayman Hakim goes fast, but he goes completely wide, and Ahmad Jusmin goes back and stays in position. Cameron James takes the opportunity to go around inside and overtakes Ayman Hakim as well.
And Ayman Hakim sinking like a stone. Look at that. Ayman is actually losing so many positions, hand over fist, and then some. He has been taken out by the Haywood Sui as well, and unfortunately his father's name at the end means the Babas as well.
Oh god. My goodness. Well, not quite a full-on crash here, but he's certainly rubbing so hard here. Haywood Sui just pressuring him so hard here, trying to force him into a mistake here, trying to unsettle him. Under braking, slips into the inside as Ayman Hakim outbrakes himself, and Haywood Sui moves up to 9.
Brilliant bit of driving from everybody involved. Even there was a bit of argy-bargy here and there. And amazingly, out of all of that, Ahmad Jusmin is the only one who actually maintained his position. He did not lose it one bit. He's still in P6, would you believe it?
Peugeot power, question mark. But still, in this case, it's working out for Ahmad Jusmin, so he cannot deny the results. Kanzani Ramdani going a little bit wide here compared to Cameron James, trying to set up maybe a good exit, but not enough to get a slingshot effect that he needs there to close that gap to Cameron James at this point.
Meanwhile, there's a hot battle going on here between first and second in the silver class. Lacambra versus Ryan. This is also for the championship lead, of course. They are going to be championship elect coming into the final round. The Hatsune Miku versus Subaru livery is hard on the heels here. This is going to be really fun stuff to watch. And they no doubt full well that these two youngsters are aiming high, especially the fact that gold will be beckoning for them next season.
It's gonna be like new school versus old school, like Rally versus Vocaloid going on here. Alonso Marcos Lacambra is now going to have to fight here to keep his lead in the silver class. That slide out there is not the good news here, but it's certainly good news for Iman Ryan because he knows he's within touching distance now, and he's certainly putting a lot of pressure onto Alonso, and it seems to have worked out so far. Alonso now really teeter-tottering on the edge here as he keeps himself ahead of Iman Ryan, but only barely just.
Yeah, and the thing that this is basically old school versus old school because Vocalo has been around for donkey's years though. So well, technically, in terms of themes.
Technically, I mean, but still, I think the 555 livery has been around since 1995, so
yeah,
I think that still claims it.
Yeah, just a decade older compared to Vocaloid, but again, in terms of old school, it is very old school because these guys are still quite young. You can see that Lacambra goes a bit wide. He actually loses the wheel just a bit to get Iman Ryan up to the side of him. Side by side they go. They hit each other quite a few times. Door handle to door handle even. And there goes Iman Ryan on the inside. He takes the lead of silver.
Wow! Incredible moves there from Iman Ryan. He's secured now the lead, but can he keep it though? 5.5 minutes still remain, and Alonso Marcos Lacambra now setting up for the counterattack, taking on the inside of the sweeper. He sweeps in, but Iman Ryan still stays ahead, still tries to close the door onto him, but doesn't quite close it in the second second one here. He slips right through there, does Alonso. And now, side by side, they will still be side by side as they come out of the exit.
Oh,
now
the
the next turn, not a touch there between the two, as even Ryan now has to fall in behind Alonso.
And Zef Yuen comes up for good measure. This is the battle for the lead in silver between the top 4. It's still not over just yet. And Zef gets third place right now.
Yep, Zef Yuen now jetting himself into the mix. This is exciting stuff happening in the silver class. The front runners here just absolutely dogfighting their way in the final phase of this race. And in contrast, the gold class really is just maintaining track position, but it's absolute a bloodbath going on here, going on in the silver class.
Well, not exactly a bloodbath just yet because they're still alive somehow after all of that. They're not dead, but everyone's still fighting with whether they're not. They want to be dead or alive. Zef Yuen runs a bit wide. He did the same mistake that Lacambra did the previous lap, and for good measure, the Scouts are right behind him, followed almost out of sympathy. That, in turn, made them lose a bit of time to the guys in front. 7/10 of a second up between Ryan and Zef Yuen. We're going to jump to Ryan's view now. Alonso Marcus Lacambra with a mammoth defense. And yes, you can see just now, Evo said Marcus is a different animal. Indeed, it was a mammoth defense, I would say, from him.
It's crazy, especially when he's under such pressure as the not only the race leader, but also the championship leader here. A lot is at stake, even though he does have quite the decent lead. It's still a very competitive championship battle going on right now between him and Ryan. Now, Alberto Miguel Gascalo is getting himself in a bit of a tussle right now. Him and Zef Yuen actually closed up, just not Emma Ryan. Seemed to have dropped off a little bit as Alberto has just been doing such a good job keeping Zef Yuen behind.
Well, actually, Zef Yuen was in front of Descalzo, but then Descalzo actually overtook him back, and they both went wide coming into the beginning of the second sector just now. We saw it just out of our sights while we were focusing on Lacambra and Ryan, and now Descalzo is actually back up in front.
And in the meantime as well, Haywood Sui is just overtaking Kanzani Randani. Oh, actually, it's still side by side right now, coming out of the hairpin, so it's still not quite over. A bit of a contact between the two of them. Kanzani does have the inside on this turn, so he will try to sweep in and close the door on the other Ferrari, the red one, in fact. As Kanzani Ramdani now stays ahead still. You can see Ayman Hakim still behind the two of them, trying to bite for a bit of opportunities here, but it seems like Kanzani has this in the bag right now, pulling away ahead of Haywood Sui.
And that's exactly what he wanted. He just stalled the momentum of Sui behind, and that in turn will give him a bit of leeway to just get up to the back of Cameron James. However, he'll try, because it's about 1.5 seconds now between himself and the Sarawakian. And coincidentally, of course, Sarawak is on the Borneo side of the island as well, so Indonesia is involved in there somehow. Either way, geopolitics aside, that is still a battle that's going to enrage on all the way to the end of this race, because it is a bit spread out from the top 3, because Chester is up in front of Felix Young by about 1.7 seconds. Michael Valentin Velasquez was about half a second behind there. He was closing up, and now I think they're going to get into the back markers.
Yeah, I think they're actually closing in on that as we speak right now. Just okay, still perhaps quite a few seconds, at least 2 corners before he's going to be able to meet the first of the back markers right now. So at least for the front runners, it's still very much going to be status quo from here on out. Not much closing on distance, except for Michael Vincent Velasquez actually lost his position to Felix Young sometime earlier on in the race. Now he's trying to chase back, still even half a second there, so perhaps might be able to find opportunity. Felix actually breaking a little bit hard in that corner there, perhaps trying to missed out on that racing line there.
I think he just got a bit flustered there by Velasquez, though conversely you might think that he was trying to actually just get the momentum out. He was just trying to go a bit wider, just carry the speed through, but it just stalled Velasquez a bit, and there the back markers are coming to play. LMP2 is now in front, and there's Calvin Powell in the March 7th livery being overtaken.
Yeah, this is going to run a bit of interference, and that actually might help both Michael Vincent Velasquez and Keith Moore, because it's going to force Felix Young to try to figure out a way to get past this. Or if the silver class driver gets out of the way quickly enough, then they'll be able to continue this battle unabated. Keith Moore also following in behind. Nice work done there from that pack marker, actually getting out of the way to allow our gold class drivers to keep that battle going in the final minute of this race.
Yeah, Calvin Powell there, good bit of driving. He knew that he just held his line, kept being predictable, and all is well for everyone involved there. So we're looking at Ayman Hakim now fighting with Haywood Sui.
Ryan, Even Ryan's actually getting close to Lacambra there. Are they side by side actually? Oh, that's practically side by side now. Even Ryan taking a wider line, trying to the exit. Alonso spins out. Alonso spins out there, and Nima Ryan continues through. This is an absolute disaster here for Alonso.
And you know what? That wasn't anybody's fault there because Alonso was actually losing it anyway. The car was about to spin, and he spun it right in front of Iman Ryan. And there we go. Lacambra now is going to play catch up for the rest of the race here. Well, 4 seconds left to go. But still, a disastrous way to end it. And he is now trying to recompose himself here.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, again, to happen literally on the very last lap. We are in the last lap now, ladies and gentlemen. It's just the lap has already gotten past the finish line before the timer went out. So it's still a bit of running to go. But Alonso, Marcus Lacambra may just be out of it here. At least between him and Zef Yuan, between him and Nescalo right now. Because he's, at least 5 cars behind here. So this.
What happened to Iman Ryan? What has happened to Iman Ryan?
Iman slowed down completely. He slowed and completely stalled on the track.
Wow, the championship has turned on his head once again. Would you believe it? He might have actually run out of fuel.
What?
And who's gonna win now?
This is crazy. What the heck is happening here? Alberto Miguel Descalo now inherits the lead. And he's going to be continuing on together with Zeb Yuan. The 2 guys who were fighting behind our front runners in silver class are now fighting for the very lead of this race. And Chesalam is now coming around into the final sector here. Zeb Yuan almost had a look on the inside of Alberto, who managed to hit him off just nicely there. Chesalam throughout this race has not dropped a single foot wrong in this race and will be cruising its way to ultimate victory here. Another feather to the cap. Another extension to the lead that he has built up here over 2 rounds. Checker flag by Chesalam. Keep on Michael Vincent Velasquez beat each other to the line, but Michael Vincent still stays in 3rd place. Felix Young finishes in 2nd, Keith Moore in 4th. Ahmad Jusmin will come to take the checkers flag in 5th ahead of Cameron James.
Oh, look at that.
Hassan Randani, and it's still not over here for the silver class. And Zef Yuan has overtaken Descalo for the lead in the silver class.
Oh, Descalo's actually gone off wide there because he, I think, got pushed off by Zef Yuan. He had nowhere to go. He was on the grass and nearly lost it. Now, can Zef hang on to it towards the bitter end as the championship battle between the top 2 has been turned completely on its head after a disastrous moment for both Iman Ryan and Alonso Marcus Lacambra.
Yeah, well, my goodness, it's still literally a whole sector to go between the 2 of them right now, and it's still maybe an opportunity if Zef Yuan does not keep this sector clean, but as of right now, there's only a little bit of a straight to go here. Alberto Miguel Descalo at one moment was in the lead, but could not get it in the final moments. Or will he be able to get in braking? I doubt so. Zef Yuan has this in the bag. Through the final corner he goes. Zef Yuan takes the checkered flag for the silver class in round number 3, race number 1.
Wow, what a battle in the silver class. It was almost as intense and as exciting as what we saw in the gold class. 3rd place is actually Shakim Fitri, so Kirin gets a podium at last in the silver class after missing out in the first 2 rounds. The 4th place is Kamali, and 5th is Aziz Shami Mokhtar with, I don't know where Justin Roldev is. There we go, Justin is just right beside him. And unfortunately, his livery did not load again on this one, but oh well, whatever it is. That has been an absolute banger of a race, and Chester Lam, despite of all of that, still wins the race and extends his championship.
Yep, I mean, for the gold class, shout out as well to the bottom finishers there. Haywood Sui finishes in 8th place, Galani Haki in 9th. 10th place went to Ayman Hakim, and they got Adam Harif to round out the gold class finishers here. So, well, we're going to be going now into our race number 2. This is where the top 10 is going to get that reverse grid. As for Zef Yuan, as for Iman Ryan, well, I mean, most likely lost his drive because of a lack of fuel, hence why he slowed down and stopped on the track. Very unfortunate thing to happen there, and my goodness, just the amount of drama we've been having this night here in round number 3. I mean, we're talking about not just in this class, gold and silver, also close battles happening in the bronze class, close battle for the lead as well for the copper class. It's crazy, crazy night we're having here in the ERGP, man.
And you know what? It's still probably not over just yet. We still probably have the same thing happen in the 2nd race, and then some, because now the championship will be going into that squeaky bum time, as they call it in football terms. where all the points are in, you put your chips on, and whether or not you can actually make it through unscathed.
Yeah. Well, we're still waiting right now, letting the drivers settle down a little bit here before we're going to get started for race number 2 as we await for the server to refresh here. Guys, I'd like to remind you all to make sure you stay subscribed to our YouTube channels. Make sure you follow us our social medias, that is Facebook, as well as Instagram, as well as X. And just make sure you follow this along. You don't want to miss out on the final round of the season, which is going to be coming in a couple of weeks' time. And that's where we will see the ultimate conclusion of the season here in Global Edition 17. Now got the drivers back out on the grid here. So Ayman Hakim, given that he finished in 10th place, he'll be starting on the front row alongside Galandi Haki. We'll have Haywood Sui and Kanzani Ramdani behind. The two Ferraris will absolutely going at it in the last race here. They will continue to go at it as well in this race. Cameron James just right behind them to get Ahmad Jusmin. And Keithmore and Michael Vincent Velasquez in 7-8. Felix Yon and Chesalam round up into the top 10 here.
Yep, and there's his idol, Abyomi, the 30-year-old Japanese star. She's celebrating her birthday just a couple of days ago. Nonetheless, we're going to get ready here, Vic.
Yeah, we're gonna get ready here for sure. Silver class drivers also on the ready. Red lights are on the gantry, and we're off now for the final race here of the night. I'm gonna keep now trying to guts beaten to the line actually by Galandi Haki, who cuts in front of him immediately and snatches the lead of the race. Behind him, Haywood Sui and Kanzani Ramdani actually goes completely wide, following out Hakim into the runoff area. Runs into Michael Vincent Velasquez. Bit of clattering going on with the silver class drivers behind. Bardia Nick involved in that, unfortunately having to recover back onto the track. And Zeph Yuen also caught up in the middle.
Wow, Zeph Yuen, our silver race 1 winner, is caught in all that. And here comes Keithmore around the outside to take Adam Arif. They actually are now coming their way through the field after finishing close up to the front here. Chester Lum, though, hasn't made any inroads.
Yeah, still not able to get through much of the drivers here. Still stuck behind. And Arif, had to really stand on the brakes there in order to avoid contact. And that just goes to show how close the racing is going on here. We're still, of course, still not yet quite through this first lap of the race. Still very, very tight. Look at the collisions happening. Action, and Ayman gets spun up in the process.
And that is literal American above us right there, if you call it Malay. And here comes the rest of the silver class field to overtake him for good measure.
Oh my goodness, silver class drivers now coming through. We still see the Scalo up in front together with Chester Elog right now in second place. Alonso Marcus Lacombe has actually made up quite a few places. He's now up into third in the silver class here, 13th overall. Brilliant recovery drive here. He finished in 6th, I believe, in the silver class, but now he's going to be in a position now to try to regain some momentum, hopefully mitigate some of the damage that the last just appeared there. Just who was that just spun around there? I think it was Kamal Ali there, clattered into the wall. That's going to be a lot of damage for sure.
And you said Justin just now. Here's Justin Hoffman. There we go. He has his run off into turn number 1 for real this time.
Oh man, 13 minutes still to go. We're still in the early phases here. I think for the top 5 of the gold class, starting to settle down right now into a regular rhythm here, but it's not quite over here for Chester Lam right now. Having Adam Hari for company here as he comes around the sweeper. Oh boy, still trying to find a way through, but still hanging around. Very risky, a bit of a bump there. Chester Lam clatters into the back of Adam Harif, but fortunately neither of these cars get run off there.
Yeah, but Murdoch might have had his rear wing scuffed as Bardia Nick has actually retired from the race. So one contact he made at the start. And again, it all started because everyone on cold tires went off through turn number 1 in the runoff area, tried to come back, and they actually spun it. So that's why it just caused that mayhem further behind. And it was actually started by Felix Young. Felix was the one that half spun the car, managed to get it going, but other drivers in reaction caused further mayhem further behind. And that's why we saw the LMP2 guys being spun further behind.
Yeah, well, let's see how well, I mean, it's going to be a lot of things to take stock of here for so far, but at the moment, though, I think a bit of a battle here is still forming between two fellow countrymen here. Felix Young now caught up into the back of Chester Lam. Remember, early on during qualifying, it seemed like Chester Lam accidentally ran into Felix Young during his flying lap there. May have cost him some time in qualifying and certainly maybe steering there. I think Felix just got him past Chester Lam just off camera there as Amirul Afik got in front of Imran Ryan there. Yep.
It didn't. It was just probably side-by-side action, but no way through just yet. but you can see Felix is the more racier of the two.
Yeah, Felix is certainly feeling a lot of confidence right now, trying to chase up behind Chester Lam. Both of them are running similar cars, yes. No, actually, completely different.
Whoa!
Oh boy.
Chester with the bump on the sausage curve that launched him in the air. Felix Young goes a bit wide in the subsequent corner. These cars are pretty much stiffly sprung.
Stiff indeed. Well, the thing is that this track, the curbs are really harsh, but the sausage curbs, of course, you know how I feel about sausage curbs there. They really are a hazard on the road, but fortunately that did not end Chester's race right there and then. He's still able to keep himself right well within it. Kanzani Ramdani in the moment still in position, as is Michael Vincent Velasquez. Oh, Kanzani actually running into the inside of Ahmad Jusmin. Ahmad just going completely wide there. A bit of a jink there from Keith Morris. He tries to keep Michael Vincent Velasquez behind. It's starting to heat up a little bit right now for the front runners here in the gold class.
And it's in the mid of the top 10. Oh, Keith does it! That's a big boy dive there from Keith Mo, and he gets it! He actually gets P5. What a save! And oh no, for the behind is a spin though. Jusmin gets off, and the rest of the field also had to stop.
Yeah, now Michael Vincent Velasquez has Chester Lam in his sights, or rather Chester Lam actually overtakes him completely now and moves up ahead. So has Felix Young and Adam Harib as well. A bit of a chain reaction there caused by Ahmad Jusmin spinning out. Now he's within the clutches, or rather it's just behind Ayman Hakim Abbas, who's attempting to regain some track position there after an unfortunate spin, and now has only been able to gain a single place here.
And I think I know why that Velasquez backed off. He's the one that causing a spin to Jusmin, and he gave the position back. So maybe he wants to avoid getting sanctions afterwards, which is a very prudent idea, but unfortunately you cannot reverse the fact that the incident has happened before. And look at the eyes on the car there. It's a bit like Shinya Nakano's helmet. Yeah, if you remember Shinya Nakano, yeah, that's a nice reference for the Jusmin car, but regardless of that, he is now only gonna go away with 1 point here, but he will no doubt be fighting for it.
Yeah, some say that like Ahmad Jusmin transforms as he goes into his car.
And you can see the mohawk on the top of that.
Yeah.
So he's gone a bit punk 80s style with the car there. Either way, that is the state of play right now in that top 10. Cameron James on the podium. He would love to actually get away with a podium here after the amount of battles he had to go through to get it.
Yeah, it's really a hard-fought one here to literally just survive.
Whoa!
To get contact between Haywood Swain and Gurlani Hockey, and Haywood unfortunately has spun out completely there. He's going to get caught up here, but Cameron James who inherits yet another position, and Ramdani is now up on the podium here.
And Keith Moore will try to pick out the pieces there. Yep,
he does.
Haywood Swain, he's up between the two kids here, the two three teens and teenagers. And Keith Moore does get it, albeit just goes off the track there. And in real life racing rules, because he overtook off track, you might have to give position back. But I think he will be safe on this one, knowing the fact that he was ahead before the corner was there.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit on him, really, just to go wide there. Ooh, getting very close again. Kanzai Ramdani is now keeping the challenge on to Cameron James, who right now, you know, just literally by surviving here, has survived his way to a second position. Finish, but Kanzani Ramdani is going to try to keep him honest in this latter half of this race here.
Yeah, again, keeping him honest is one thing, but can he try to buckle the pressure here? So Shang Yuan gets some support for Keith. Again, that was probably from the big boy dive that he came through turn number 3. That was some effort to get it through and then get the car stopped in time to just complete the move.
You know, like it just harkens back to me whenever I see Cameron James say, "Oh, in the meantime, actually, bit of an action going on here as Felix Young now tries to make a move onto Adam Harif around. And it clatters into him. Clattered into him does Adam Harif. Haywood Sway still is able to get back on track and stay right behind Adam Harif, but he's certainly not going to be too happy about that move there.
Indeed, and in fact, that Murdoch probably just skipped out a bit and just touches Felix. Felix, again, as you said, wouldn't be too happy about that. Now, when you're talking something about Cameron James, you were about to go on a bit.
I was about to say, like, you know, early in the group chat for the Handshake Sim Racing team, you know, they're asking inside the group for the Gold Class drivers, like, any tips on how to race here in eRGP? And, like, I don't think it was him actually who said it, but basically the number one tip is just survive. It's exactly what Cameron James has done, and like I said, survived his way into a second place possible finish here.
Indeed, and though he has to actually fend off the advances of Kazani Ramdani, who is no stranger to a very hard fight to get his way up to the front. And the thing is, there's light at the end of the tunnel for him because Gerlani Haki is not that far away either, so there's still an opportunity here if someone were to stuff up or something happens when they try to lap the silver guys, every opportunity to do so.
The thing is that, you know, I think especially for Gerlani Haki is that he actually got the lead very early on. So I think for him, his scenario, it's more conducive for him to be able to save more performance on his tires. So I think when you compare it to like Ramdani, when you compare to Keith and Haywood, you know, there have been a lot of scraps early on in this race here. So I don't know if their tire condition is necessarily going to be at its best right now at this point in the race. But Gerlandi certainly would have had ample opportunity here to have conserved his tires. So we'll see how that will turn out. It's Alonso Marcus Lacambra now trying to put a challenge on the Chester Elog. So far, he's done well to climb up onto the podium spaces here for the silver class. Now is on the chase here to try to regain the lead and hopefully make up for the disappointment that was race number 1.
Yeah, but the good news for him was the fact that Ima Ryan ran out of fuel towards the end, meant that he still gained points on him. But how he would love to have not gotten that half spin that caused the Constantina effect and then the subsequent spin afterwards. He would have actually gotten at least 20 points for his troubles, or at most 25. But here we are talking about the possibilities, but that never happened.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. You can always theorize, but it all ends up about what happens on track. Alonso moves on the outside of Chester Elop. Not enough to make the move stick, though, as Chester retakes a position immediately on the exit. But Alonso not going to be abated, still continue to try to take the slipstream off of Chester. There's going to be the hairpin coming up soon after this turn. So as long as Alonso is able to stay close enough, he can try to battle him under braking here. Let's see if this will work out. Halfway through now, coming on to the kink, and now getting into the braking point. Is he going to be able to find that position, though? Closes the gap on the Chester Elo. Chester leaves it a little bit wide open there. Alonso edges his nose through here, tries to make it a side-by-side, but not able to pull it off towards the exit. Now Chester will still keep his car in blocking position. Alonso now following very closely. Jinx under the right, Jinx on the left. Can't quite find its way through. Still, Chester Elo reigns in front.
Did you see the amount of movement on the wheel then? Oh, that was very close.
Yep.
Very, very close between Lacambra and Elok to coming to blows there. Luckily, though, they kept it together. But at the expense of Descalzo actually running away up in front, he is now pulled almost a 2-second gap ahead.
Yep. I mean, more battling going on here is going to just end up benefiting Descalzo all the way up in front there. So, again, every time you inside like a spec series race, just like how it is here in the silver class, you know, you want to spend less time actually defending, actually fighting, and trying more just to try to gain up positions, especially when they're trying to change for the lead here. Alonso tries again, didn't quite make it through.
Second place, yeah, for this one. As now we actually get to the bottom of what that Swift Sim Racing logo is. That's actually Carlos Hines, not Carlos Sainz, because you can see it's actually a catch-up head. But
that's
Lacambra nearly coming to blows with the same corner that caused Ima Ryan to actually get out to the back of him earlier in race number 1. Now he nearly lost it again here, and crucially a bit of momentum to Elog. But once again, if you look at the outside view, same thing, third time in a row. Oh, nearly loses it there. That was complete opposite log, and I think you saw from the camera at the bottom, he really had to just hang on to the car, otherwise it would have been curtains.
Yeah, again, this was kind of like something I feared for some of the drivers in the gold class as well. Like those who have been involved in a lot of scraps, especially during the incidents we had early on in this race here. Their tire conditions are definitely not going to be that good right now coming into the final 2 minutes of race number 2. Cameron James, to his credit though, has still been able to hang on for dear life here. Ramdani has been close a few times, still remains half a second behind the second place driver right now. Galeni Haki still 3 whole seconds ahead of this battle here, so he's in very, very comfortable position as far as his race is concerned. Keith Moore is also falling behind this battle as well. I mean, it's practically a 3-way, just not close enough really to make the difference quite yet. I think these drivers still biding time, still trying to feel out the conditions of not only their tires, but the condition of the tires of everyone else. Keith Moore going a little bit too wide that time around. Tries to get back onto the Kanzani, but still struggles to keep his car on the racing line here.
Oh, there's someone off in the corner. There's Joel Kelly Mabau for, and he's got the Apex GP logo, so trying to promote the F1 film. Though I highly doubt that Brad Pitt drove well, actually no, it might be a potential spoiler though, because they did film at Daytona a few years ago.
All right, yeah.
So, but
we'll see.
maybe it's a sign of what's to come. Either way, Chester Lam comes through. Oh, that's a battle between Adam Harif and Felix Young. Felix on the inside. Felix gets it. And that is a big boy dive. Very brave to do so. And Murdoch had no answer to that.
Yeah, and then completely caught out there in the final corner too. Dang. In the meantime, Felix just dispatching a couple of silver class drivers as he tries to make his way through. Adam Harif struggling as you keep up there. Felix, I mean, this huge performance differential it feels between the two of them right now. So, yep, that is exactly how that is going to turn out here. Felix Young now in 7th place. And in the meantime, and for everyone else, they're just waiting for that timer to run its way down. Galani Haki still coming around into that final sector. 30 seconds still remaining. Is he going to be able to beat the timer here? That's going to be a big question in my mind now.
Let's see then. I don't think so. Even though it looks like he could just about sneak in. No, I don't think so now.
Yeah,
he will
there's
not
a
be
lot
able
of
to.
traffic between.
Yep. And this is now the final corner though. Well, he's cutting it very close. A lot of drivers who are fighting for position might be willing him to not do so, but he might just be able to just break the timer and take it away in here, Vic.
Well, riding around the final corner here, but I think the timer's going to run out before that point. So it looks like Kalani Haki has done it here. Race number 2 goes to him here. Cameron James follows in 2nd place. Kamsani Ramdani finishes in 3rd. And Keith Moore finishes in 4th place here ahead of Haywood Sui, who is ahead of Chester Lam. Felix Young takes up in 7th place, and Adam Harif, aka Murdoch, takes it up in 8th place. Ayman Akeem finishes in 9th, and Michael Vincent Velasquez rounds up the top 10 with Ahmad Jusmin finishing in 11th. And in the meantime, Descalo will be coming around into the final sector now. He is led now. He has actually won in race 1 due to fortunate circumstances. Race number 2 is definitely all on him though, as he's been able to keep the lead of the race for a very long time indeed. Coming around to the final few turns. Now onto the final bit of straight here to go before that final corner. Meantime, Chester Elok and Alonso Marcus Lacambra are following behind. I think Iman Ryan now trying to put a bit of pressure here onto Alonso. In fact, coming around this final turn here as well as Descalo finishes in 1st place. He takes the checkered flag here for the silver class. Chester Elok finishes 2nd, and Lacambra finishes in 3rd ahead of Iman Ryan. Incredible racing here all around. Amir Afik finishes in 5th place here for the silver class. In 6th is going to be Justin Raul Dev. We also have Muhammad Kamal Ali finishing right now 18th overall. Azik Mokhtar in 19th place, and Anwar in overall 20th place.
But take nothing away from Kalandi Haki, who's unfortunately now left the server. But that was, again, Iman Ryan and Alonso Marcus Lacambra coming to the final corner, battling once again to duke it out for a position. Unfortunately for Iman Ryan, he came out 2nd best that time.
Yep.
He did turn Lacambra around the very first time they fought each other, but that final corner, 2 different instances, 2 different outcomes.
Yeah.
Either way, Haki though, with a well-deserved win.
Hey, come on. He snatched the lead from the race right from the get-go and continued to hold it through the very end and just managed to avoid most of the chaos actually that happened just behind him. I mean, we saw the clattering that was going on between Chester and Felix, Kanzai Randani, Adam Harif, and as well also Ayman Akeem. Just so much action happening here in round number 3 here, you know, just across all the classes. Amazing racing we're seeing here in the eRacing GP, and hopefully, you know, it's going to set things up for a big bang by the time we get to the end of the season.
Indeed, in a fortnight's time, when the circuit is going to be announced on the Monday of that race week. We don't know yet. We just want to keep it a secret from drivers. But I don't think we will have anybody to interview. They look a bit funned out right now, isn't it? Yeah, everybody's quite funned out. We're quite funned out as well. We just want to say thank you to our sponsors, Xbox Soundwave Serene, for providing the facilities for us to do it in the commentary box here. Royal Selangor, who provide the trophies that the drivers will get. Yes, you will get trophies, especially if you're in the top 3 in the championship for each class. Endurance guys as well, you get a trophy plate sent to you if you come to us on Discord when we contact you. And last but not least, Access Sports, we also organize the eRacing GP Global Edition and Endurance Edition in the throughout the entire year. But I think final words, Vic, of how did they win?
Yeah, I mean, again, incredible to see how things have shaped up right now for the championship season here. I think we're going to be having to retabulate a lot of points here, especially for how close the finishes were for the bronze class. And of course, for the gold and silver class, lots of topsy-turvy situations going on here. But I'm excited to see what will happen in the fortnight's time, because it's going to be the final round here of the Global Edition 17. Make sure you guys stay tuned here. You know, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on all of our social medias. That's going to be Facebook, Instagram, as well as X. And in the meantime, you know, take these 2 weeks here. Happy fasting month here for all of our Muslim family and friends. And we'll see you guys in the next round here of the eRacing GP. My name is Victor Cax. Joining me here is Ammo. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time for the final season ender here for Global Edition 17. Until then, good night and good luck.